I like that song. How y'all doing? Whoa. Look at that. What a jarring aesthetic dissonance right there. My cool guy shades and my stupid fucking ear tampon. What's up? Howdy, howdy. Yeah, the hidden ear cocoon. It's finally happened, folks. Um, the manacles put on me by the CIA have finally been taken off. My autism shackles, firmly attached to both my ears. Autism Unchained. Vosh 2.0. It's finally happening. You're finally cured of autism? No, it's the opposite. We've taken away the autism inhibitors. We're doubling down on the autism. Sorry for not getting back to streaming as quickly as I wanted to. In my defense, it's an extremely weird injury to recover from. This cryotherapy shit. For the first couple of days after I got it done, so because what they do is they put a hypodermic needle through the keloid and they freeze it by shunting liquid nitrogen through the needle, freezing the cell tissue and destroying all the cell walls or cell membranes because it's not a plant. Um, and the point is to biologically kill all of the cells to prevent the keloid from regrowing. Whereas if you cut them off, you're just like cutting it off. It doesn't like meaningfully change anything. Um, Now the problem with this from a recovery perspective is that it's quite difficult to get over. It's not that painful. It's just that for the first couple of days after I got this done, it didn't hurt at all. There was barely any bleeding. And then but eventually the point is that the keloids are supposed to decay because they're biologically dead. So I woke up this morning with like a ton of blood in the side of my face. It's such a pain in the ass to get over. Um, because like the whole point is that it takes a while for the fucking keloids to decay, right? It's a whole thing because it's necrotic tissue, but like it's not rotting. It's just dead. I took the bandage off when I was getting into the shower earlier this morning, and I've never felt this cold blood dripping on my shoulder because it was blood in the keloid it was dead. There was no warmth in there. I I it's very surreal, like blood that just came out of you that's cold to the touch, It's very, very strange. Um so anyway, that's my explanation for why it took a bit for me to get back to streaming. It's just a very weird thing to recover from. That being said, the recovery is going just fine. Incredibly well, actually. Um, yeah, true lizard behavior. Oh, so how are you guys doing? Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am for stream. It's been too long. This is my social outlet. Who else is excited? Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Wow. When I got out of the shower today, he was perfectly placed on the toilet lid. Like he was just like he expanded to fill the space of the toilet lid like a liquid in a cup. Yeah. Ugh. Okay, I'm back. Man, we got stuff to talk about. Whoo boy. Um, in an hour we're talking to the fella from the Caleb Maupin cult, so that's going to be fun. I kept talking about this like it would be a discussion, but he wants to have a debate, which is an interesting and refreshing take on how my conversations normally go. I'm certainly not opposed. So that'll be fun. We'll get around to that. Um, oh, nice, Holic Master. Not the worst problem to have. You're on a Hearts of Iron 4 mod now? Good. As it always should have been. Stupid shit. Stupid ass shit. Artemy, what are you doing under my foot? Oh. So how have you guys been in my absence? We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we have a convo in a little under an hour, so until we get to that point, you know, we got to get all of our socializing out of the way right now. What do you think of Trump trying to start another Jan 6? It's pretty gay. Horsme, is that true? Was the law ratified? Because I wasn't able to find that anywhere. Could you email me about that? Email me about that, please. Did I see Loner Box's newest video on trans women? You mean the one that came out an hour ago? No, I did not see the video that came out an hour ago. I'm ready, Vosh. Oh, hello, the Yankee Tanky. Oh, actually, you know what? Do you want to just talk in 5 minutes? Yankee Tanky? Let's do it. Okay, 5 minutes. Oh! Well, while I have 5 minutes to wait, you guys want to see something neat? Real quick. I'm still doing my Unity stuff. I'm just trying to figure it out, and I was trying to get a hang on a normal mapping the other day. That is to say, it's the process of giving the computer info on a 2D image to make light fall on it in a way that simulates three-dimensional space. Look, okay, we're just it's just a little test field here, so don't worry too much about the particulars, okay? Here. But look. Move. Look, see? Even though all these sprites are literally, let me turn up the intensity a bit. Even though all these sprites are literally two-dimensional, you can see that the light falls on them. Let me get rid of this collision grid test thing. Get out of there. There we go. Okay, now and finally. See, look. You see what I mean? Like, it's a 2D image, but it's like it's 3D. See? And then I tried to do a little junk pile down there, and that's just an image, and I didn't do a great job because I drew the normal map myself. But look at that, see? You see how, like, especially on the side there. Like, see? I think that's really cool. Like, that was, when I figured this out, it was so satisfying. Yeah. So I'm still working, you know, but it's just a little, yeah, just a little something something. All right, close that. All right. 71% of Americans now approve of labor unions. Nice. Excuse me. Yeah, guys, I'll get you something for real with the game soon, okay? I'm just trying to figure out this collision kerfuffle, but there's some other stuff that I want to implement after I get that done, and it's not going to be too tough either. Because I think I know how to do it. Hey, this is pretty cool. Hell yeah, Gale. That's quite the uptick. So what, this is the highest desire for labor unions we've had since the mid-60s? That's a pretty big jump. Not surprising, given what's been going on lately. New Proud Boy founder Gavin McGinnis on-air FBI raid and presumed arrests were apparently faked. Ha! Did any of you see this? I thought this shit was fake from the start. I remember a little while ago, there was a controversy over some Twitch streamer faking their own swatting. Like they literally like paid fake cops to bust in during a live stream to you know, to generate intrigue or whatever, and they got absolutely dumped on when people realized that it was fake. I know the signs. Weird shit. Whatever. Fake cops like in Halloween costumes. Nah. You can like rent fake cops. Who look like cops, you know, like they've got, like they look authentic for, you know, a variety of things, you know. acting work or pranks or whatever. Yeah, it's a couple things you can do. No, I don't think the stripper cops look like actual modern real cops, unfortunately. It's not. I guess people don't find it that sexy for a stripper to like tantalizingly undress out of 17 layers of Kevlar and like setting all these guns on the ground and shit, you know? Accidentally misfiring and like, bullet ricochets around. Swear to God, I'm gonna be stalked by these damn cats following me. It's like they don't know they've been fed. Oh yeah, we're talking to the Yankee Tanky. Last thing before we do, though. I've got nothing to say on it because I am not reading this shit. And, other people haven't gotten far enough through it for them to give me the info to riff off of here. But J.K. Rowling, came out with another, book. And apparently, it's on J.K. Rowling getting canceled or whatever. In her new book, Rowling introduces the readers to Eddie Ledwell, a creator of a popular YouTube cartoon who sees internet trolls and her own fandom turn on her after the cartoon was criticized as being racist and ableist as well as transphobic for a bit about a hermaphrodite worm. The creator is doxxed with photos of her home plastered on the internet, subjected to death and rape threats for having an opinion, was ultimately found stabbed to death in a cemetery. The book takes a clear aim at social justice warriors, suggests that Ledwell is a victim of a masterfully plotted, politically fueled hate campaign against her. Phenomenal stuff. What's that quote? I know authors who employ subtlety and they're all cowards, you know? If I almost respect this, you know? Like imagine getting so mad at people disagreeing with you online. You're like, "Yeah, okay, I'm literally just going to write a book about this." And all of you will have Hitler mustaches and I will, I will be perfect and virtuous in every way. Yeah. Oh, subtext, not subtlety. I got the sub part right. Cuz that's, they're all in my chat. Yeah, 600 pages longer than Dune. Apparently it's quite long. She really is not a great writer, is she? Imagine being a public figure and getting mad your address is posted online. It's not just that she's a public figure. I think public figures have a right to not have their address posted. She's had news articles written on her famous castle home in England. It's not like anyone had to do any detective work in her house. The news showed up at her new castle house. Like, here's the famous J.K. Rowling's Scotland, not England, castle home. Like, oh yeah, you can go there for a tour. It's not, yeah, it's on her Wikipedia page. It's a different thing. Yankee Tanky, if you're there, DM me on Discord so I know you're there, and then I'll call. Ethan Klein won a new lawsuit. Really? Just won 100% of our attorney's fees from Triller for their frivolous and malicious lawsuit. Oh, okay, wait, we could talk about that in a bit. Howdy?
Hello.
Howdy.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Wait, can you give me a nice long sentence to make sure that, hold on, let me turn your volume up. To make sure that you, sound okay on my end?
Yeah, sure. My name is the Yankee Tanky, and I am here today to debate Vosh.
Yeah, I'd say that about tracks. Just a mo. Uh, wait. I haven't streamed in a week. Which of these buttons do I press again? Pop out video. Do not maximize video, because that's too big. Now I'm figuring it out, don't worry. Then I move this over there. Oh god, I'm so smart. Window capture. Yeah. No. Okay. Don't worry, I'm working on it.
I believe you.
That's definitely not it. Transform. That's definitely not it. Okay. What if I... You can't see it, but I'm demonstrating a sort of remarkable amount of incompetence right now. It's very funny for the folks at home.
Good thing they have something to watch on your stream.
There we
Show
go.
some.
Okay, we made it happen.
All right, there you go. So, so I'm guessing we are on screen, on live, whatever.
Yeah, I think I managed to put the spaghetti back in my pockets. Howdy, how you doing? Hello. First of all, sorry about the whole cult thing. That really sucks. That's not good. Um, you
Yeah,
indicated an interest in arguing with me on Twitter,
yeah.
which is a fine and respectable thing. What did you want to disagree about?
Well, I want to disagree with one particular thing. Okay, so it's one thing to say that Caleb Maupin was this individual that did terrible things, that was trying to build a cult, that was a sex pest. These things are all true. However, what is not true is this idea, this concept that the ideology that we espouse, those who used to be former members of the Center for Political Innovation, that our ideology would automatically become some sort of cult. And that's what I'm here to debate today.
Yeah. Okay, so just to clarify my position, I don't think that it automatically produces a cult, but I do think like ideologically you guys are authoritarian. And you're authoritarian in a way that kind of requires sort of like an anti-empiricist perspective. That is to say, like your perspective involves like ignoring reality. So I think that the puzzle pieces are already set into place for wacky behavior like that to take place. Which is probably not good.
I disagree entirely. I think that our ideology, has lifted millions of people across the world out of poverty. I believe our ideology actually advanced forward human progress, is one of the main reasons why FDR was able to pass a New Deal, because he wasn't able to do that without being pressured by the CPUSA, the SPA, and trade unionists that were in coalition to force FDR to actually represent the working class. I don't think the welfare state of Europe would have existed if it were not for existing communist states like the Soviet Union. And further, there wouldn't have been the successes of the Soviet Union with the space race, with advancements of cell phone technology and other things, if it were not for our ideology.
Yeah, so the problem, you've already demonstrated it, is ideological incoherence. You've basically just roped together everything that you think looks good and like determined them to be a part of your ideology. Um, the lifted millions out of poverty you're referring to, I assume you're referring to Dengism, is a liberal reformist revisionist ideology. The labor unionists and people who pressured FDR were largely anarchists and working class socialists in America. The people in the USSR were Marxist-Leninists, aka Stalinists, aka fascists. So the problem is I don't think you really believe anything outside of a kind of generalized anti-American hegemony, um,
Well,
which isn't
I believe it
necessarily a bad
was.
thing to believe in on its own, but it's not enough, you know?
I disagree. I see that if it were not for the ideology that we pushed as MLs, we would not have had most of the positive things that workers have experienced across the world. Quite frankly, it was always the communists, it was always the Marxist Leninists who actually pushed for these things first.
But I don't think
Think
you're a
about
communist.
the civil rights movement only existed because communists were on the ground first before anyone else.
But I don't think you're a communist. You're claiming ideologies I don't think you're a part of.
Marxist Leninism is communism.
I'm sorry?
Marxist Leninism is communism.
Even if I believe that, which I don't, you're still laying claim to ideologies that aren't Marxist-Leninism. Like Dengism is not Okay, we need to back right up because let's not talk about labels here because like again, this is like cult brain shit. We need to talk about like actual ideological beliefs. So the last event that was put on by Maupin's little shindig before it fell apart was one in which the what was it? The like Soviet and US flag were held together at a 2-minute salute before bringing out the Z, the symbol of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So
Mhm.
so the last event held was a pro-fascist event, which does little to inspire the communist associations. I also haven't seen any like actual communist positions from any of you guys. Like you never talk about class or Marxism for that matter. You usually just defend modern states that have red in their flags. Um, which gets a bit confusing, especially when the modern Russia and modern China have engaged in like respective de-Sovietification and like Maoification, with China on policy undoing the Cultural Revolution and re-deifying its old imperial leaders. So it's like, what do you guys actually believe in apart from countries that aren't American? Because it it seems like it's totally inconsistent. It's just whatever like big military hegemon isn't America, you guys like them more than any.
Scientific socialism explains that over a time, our understanding of material condition changes. So this idea as if China, modern China, thanks to the market reforms that Deng did, for example, would not be Marxist-Leninist, would fly in the face of literally the books that both Deng and Xi Jinping have written.
What
Okay,
about
so
Marx?
Karl Marx was the beginning of at least scientific socialism, right? Lenin was an extension of Karl Marx, and then you would argue for the case of China, Deng and Xi Jinping were expansions on both Lenin and Karl Marx.
Yeah, more like contradictions of. I don't think Marx would have approved of, let's liberalize our economy and introduce members of the billionaire bourgeois class into the vanguard party, the CCP. That seems to me somewhat antithetical. I thought the point of a vanguard party was to represent the interests of the proletariat. How can you possibly do that if it's made up mostly of members of the bourgeois? Same with Russia, by the way.
If you don't understand how it is important to actually get the wealth extracted from the global south, or extracted from the global south back into countries like China, for example, right? You would understand that socialism would not be able to be implemented properly. This is part of the problem that had existed in the Cultural Revolution, was they were not organized based on material conditions. They thought they could change society through culture instead of material conditions. So the expansion of industrial growth under China with Deng and Xi Jinping. The whole reason that they were able to accomplish what they were accomplishing was because they were stealing back the capital that was stolen from them initially from the West.
So again, this isn't a Marxist perspective. We're talking, again, you don't like talking about class. So I just talked about the bourgeois being in power in Russia and China, and your answer was that they need to have the bourgeois in power as a way of mobilizing the productive forces of China to get their money back from the West. Which, first of all, they're doing a terrible job because America's still #1, baby. And two, what does that have to do with Marxism? If your perspective is only anti-imperialist, then just say that. But Marx would have never said, yeah, just let the bourgeois control your country if it lets you sufficiently exploit your working class to, like, get the wealth back from the West.
If you do not extract the wealth back from that was taken from the West, it is impossible to actually create a communist society. Socialism is not when everyone's equally poor. Socialism is when we rationally organize labor around people instead of profits.
These are cold answers. These are all no, it is. I can see it in your head. You're following these answers from bumper stickers that you have in your mind. Think for a second. I'm talking about class. So why can't the CCP manage
to be able to economically progress? You have to have the capital, the financial means to actually make that possible.
Okay.
And that is in the 21st century has lifted millions of people out of poverty and have created a society that is a lot more rationally organized than anything that we see in the West.
Capitalism has done wonderful stuff for China. I agree. But we're not talking about class. Wait, I'm begging you to engage in class analysis.
Feudalism had markets. Capitalism has markets. Socialism has markets. The old slave states have had markets. Markets
no,
are not.
Socialism can have markets. It can't have bourgeois. I'm talking about class. You keep ignoring the class element. This is the fourth time now. I talk about class, and you're like something else. Class.
Let's clarify. If we want the working class to do well, we do not want them to all be equally poor. Okay, so this isn't ignoring the class element, it's expanding on the class elements.
So why do the bourgeois need to be in the CCP? If it's a proletarian state, which is what they claim to be, then why would they allow the bourgeois to be part of the CCP? They should be the underclass. The bourgeois should have the boot of the proletariat upon them. but the bourgeois
They
are
did
in the
not allow
CCP.
the bourgeois into the Chinese Communist Party. They would never have been able to bring the wealth that was stolen by the West back into China.
How do you need to put the billionaires in charge of your society in order to take the
The
wealth back from
alternative is
America?
what Pol Pot was, right? To have everyone to be equally poor, people to be in poverty, people to, end up being
Okay,
genocided.
please wait, please
Against
listen. Wait, please, and listen to what I'm wait, please, just what I'm actually saying here, okay? So, I'm talking about class analysis, like in a Marxist sense. So
Yeah,
why would the Chinese Communist Party, which is meant to be the vanguard party, the vanguard of the proletarian state, how are any of its goals for proletarian advancement brought about by putting the bourgeois in power?
by allowing the export of capital to return to China.
How could they not just do that through policies implemented without
Because
having the
there's
bourgeois in
not enough
power?
economic resources within China when they were in like a semi-feudal state that just got socialized. Okay, they did not have the capital, the means in which to actually move production without bringing back capital to China.
No, I'm not talking about bringing back capital. We know China has to have capital. I'm talking about the bourgeois. Why do the bourgeois need to be in power? You can just mobilize the capital and resources of the bourgeois without putting them in
Never
power. That's the point of a proletarian state.
relations with China if China did not allow sectors of capital to be within their party.
So, so explain to me how they needed to put the bourgeois in power in order to use the resources of the bourgeois. As I understood it, a proletarian state is a state in which the proletariat are the dominant class. You can just exploit the bourgeois as an underclass without putting them in charge.
You would not be able to get the capital from the West if you did not put people within the CCP in positions of power, so the West would trust China to think that China was going to be liberalized by the West.
It's a fucking it's like the Russian military strategy. It's a feint. They're like, okay, we're gonna fill our vanguard party with members of the bourgeois to trick the West into using our sweatshops. That really? That's the best you've Sorry, my cat.
And it was
That's the best you've got?
It was successful. I mean, look at what
Yeah,
China is
they're
now.
capitalist. Well done.
Poverty.
Yes, China is capitalist. They're poorer than us and they have sweatshops. They're doing great.
They are not poorer than average Americans. The GDP might be lower in China, but the quality of life for average Chinese workers compared to average American workers is a higher quality.
Do you have a source on that by chance?
Not on me, no, but I can confirm that is the case.
Oh, okay. Well, your confirmation is what I need. Okay, so I still don't understand how the bourgeois need to be put in charge. Maybe that's what America's doing. Like, we have the bourgeois in charge in America as part of like a 7D chess strategy to advance the proletariat.
You have to have politicians in any government that's capable of understanding geopolitics in such a way that they can manipulate the West for the benefit of their own country.
Can the proletariat not understand geopolitics? Are you a classist?
They are not. Actually, Chinese workers understand things a lot better than American workers, largely because they are not propagandized like American workers.
So why not just have the proletariat in charge?
Say it again?
Why not just have the proletariat in charge then, if they understand things so well? Why do you need the bourgeois stepping on the proletariat?
At any point, the Chinese government, ran by the workers of the country, are capable of stepping in and changing how production is operated.
But the bourgeois are in charge. We acknowledged that earlier.
Oh, they're not really in charge. They're just in government.
I
That doesn't mean they're in charge.
I take it back. I do think that your ideology leads intrinsically to cult behavior. This is insane. So the problem is I could never convince you of this, but you're not a Marxist. You're not even like remotely a leftist. You're just a nationalist for countries that aren't American. That's the only consistent ideology you have. You'll repeat like state lines of propaganda from them. But outside of that, there's like no consistency in what you believe at all. It's certainly not Marxism. We are so far. This is like
You don't
scientific
understand
socialism,
dialectical
like we
materialism.
scientifically just rounded back to capitalism
You
with
don't understand
nationalist
dialectical materialism.
characteristics.
You do not understand dialectical materialism. You don't understand that our understanding of material conditions change over time.
To capitalism.
Not to capitalism, okay?
So it
material
seems.
conditions exist, change over time. You don't step in the same river twice.
So again, I can see the bumper stickers flying through your head. I don't think you're an unintelligent man, but you're still like, I still feel like I'm talking to a cultist right now. You're not engaging in analysis when you respond to me, which is why I feel like I have to keep wrangling you back to the point that I'm on. You have like predetermined propaganda lines.
Point that you're trying to gear the conversation into the means that you control it, right?
Basic Marxism, just basic.
Understands the working class of China and Russia and all of these different countries. They are, struggling against U.S. imperialism. That is the fact of the situation.
I'd like, no, I don't know if I even necessarily agree with that.
Well, of course, you support NATO.
I think that the workers of China and of Russia are mostly subservient to their own bourgeois states, more so than anything. There are plenty of countries that are directly subservient to American imperialism, but China is powerful enough that if it wanted to, it could provide a better life for its citizens. It chooses not to, but...
They do. They do provide a higher quality of life for their citizens.
I'm sure, right, I'm sure.
So does Iran. So does Venezuela. So does Nicaragua.
Yes.
So does Cuba.
Yes, the citizens of Cuba, Iran, Nicaragua, and Venezuela all have higher qualities of life than American citizens. I'm sure. I'm sure the sources for you can provide on these issues are...
I'm squatting in a house while all of those people have guaranteed housing.
I'm sure. There are no homeless in China. There are no homeless in China. There are no... Yeah, I know. Again, like, it's just nationalism here, but none of it like revolves around class interest in the slightest. It's just like you like these countries.
To be better off, you have to remove U.S. imperialism before anything else.
Well, there's not really much of a point in removing U.S. imperialism if they're just going to be subservient to the interests of their bourgeois-controlled governments.
All the countries of Venezuela, Nicaragua, and China, and Russia, and Syria, and Iran. It would be better if we just let them be under the boot of U.S. imperialism.
How about, what if we got rid of... Okay, so this is a crazy idea. So we should get rid of imperialism. That's good. Because without U.S. imperialism, the people of Syria would be doing just fine. Actually, let's talk about the people of Syria. So, in addition to removing U.S. imperialism, there's also another powerful autocratic force in that region that's suppressing the will.
Assad, he's such an evil person. This guy that didn't even want to be the leader of this country, that only got forced into the position after his brother died. Yes.
Yes, the person who inherited the monarchical position from his father and won with a 99.9% approval rating. I know. Yeah, I'm sure. Poor Assad.
Actually support their leader.
If only the protesters he gunned down understood his pain. Do you wait? I genuinely have to ask. Wait, so because I just heard what you said, even though your mic's a bit dodgy, but that's fine. That's that's whatever. You just said, oh, so something. They support their leader. Do you sincerely believe that the election results for Assad and his father were legitimate? They're like 99.7%. You do?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to fall into another cult as soon as this conversation is done. You realize that, right? Like, you're literally going... Like, the call's going to end, and you're going to walk outside, and somebody with a pamphlet is going to convince you to kill yourself on the street.
Your cult is cults. The cult of NATO, the cult of U.S. empire. You fully support them. You literally are arguing in favor of NATO. I know,
it's to a dogmatic person, it might be difficult to understand. I guess, maybe you can help me. I don't know how to talk to a person like you because you are in a different world. You don't exist in the one that I exist in. I don't know how I can talk to you. Is anyone delusional enough to believe that Assad's election results, like all the info we have, like you have to ignore so much in order to believe that that was the legitimate democratic will of the people, that I legitimately, like, I put this on tier of, like, Holocaust denial in terms of how far gone you have to be from reality. But the problem is, like, you believe this about everything. I've talked to Nazis plenty of times. Normally, their delusion begins and ends at a very specific set of things, when it comes to that level of, like, self-delusion. But for you, it seems to be like half the countries on Earth are subject to your nationalist
Interesting
dogmatism.
how you would view Nazis as more rational than communists. It's almost as if you support
You're
Ukraine and have
You're not a
power.
communist. See, that again was a bumper sticker answer. You didn't address what I said. You just like thought of like, well, what's one of the predetermined lines I have? I don't think of you. You're not a communist, so I don't think it's a fair
I
comparison.
am a communist. You aren't. You support NATO.
Right. Again, it's dogmatism. You don't have any logic. You just have
Dogmatism? Do you
talking
think it's
points.
dogmatism to like support countries that are actually improving the material conditions of their own working
Stop right
class?
there, criminal scum.
Dogmatism to support NATO, to support U.S. empire, to
You're doing
support
it again.
end up pushed by the U.S. State Department. That's not dogmatism.
You're doing it again. You're not actually address. So okay. The point
What
of
am
an
I doing?
argument is that you address what a person has said and you respond to it in a manner to refute it. What you're doing right now is you're repeating like talking points. So you keep bringing up NATO. I haven't brought up NATO once. I don't know why you keep bringing it up. I'm only talking about things that you've brought up here. Um, but you keep running to other like things. Do you understand? Like we were talking about Assad.
Because you are advocating for NATO and
We're not
advocating
talking
for
about NATO. Why
but
I
I
didn't
don't
bring up
what
NATO.
is why do you pretend to hide behind this leftist spear instead of actually, just saying it outright that you support U.S. imperialism, that you actually believe that it would be better for the United States to control and manipulate the world?
I don't believe that.
Your actions say otherwise. When you do not support those who are actually fighting against US imperialism, but instead support US imperialism because, oh, they're a lesser evil, effectively
Okay.
what you are doing is serving the interests of multinational corporations, serving the interests of monopoly
Oh
capital.
my God,
That
it's
is
all
what you're
bumper
doing.
stickers. Okay, wait, let me try to roll this back. Okay, so when America invaded Nazi Germany, would you
Yes.
agree that that was an extension of American imperialism?
No, it was actually working with the Soviet Union to crush the
Wait,
Nazis.
we occupied part of Western Germany. It was literally imperialism. We conquered a country and then occupied them for like 50 years after.
That was the beginning of the control of the U.S. imperialists and the decline of the British imperialists. So yes, in that detail, that would be supporting U.S. imperialism. But up
Okay.
until the point where they actually took out Nazi Germany, that was the United States under FDR actually fighting on the side of the Soviet Union.
Okay, so initially you realized the Soviets and the Nazis allied, right? Wait, I'm sorry. Is your perspective on the righteousness of World War II determined entirely by who Stalin was aligned with?
The or rather, the Soviet Union did not ally with
Oh
the
my
Soviet.
God. Please. So wait, it's funny that we brought up Holocaust now earlier because you're about to do Nazi apologetics again. They were an Axis power. Pigeon.
No, they were not.
They were.
Having an agreement did not attack
Damn.
another
Oh,
country.
agreeing with the Nazis. That's crazy. Why would
That's
Stalin
not
do that?
agreeing. Saying, hey, I understand that the Nazis are going to declare war on us. Let's try to prevent our country from being invaded for as long as possible so we can build up our military forces
That's
to
a great excuse, dude. I love allying with Nazis for self-preservation.
the United States, the UK, France, none of these countries wanted to ally with the Soviet Union against the Nazis. Let's remember that it was the US and their billionaires, or at this time,
It was
multimillionaires.
extremely necessary for them to invade Poland and ally with the Nazis, and only breaking the pact when the Nazis invaded them. I know, it was very necessary.
They had to have that pact so they could make sure that their military forces were ready because the United States and Britain and France and the rest of the Western powers were not willing to work with the Soviet Union.
They had
Let's
no
remember,
choice. No choice
14
at all.
countries
Okay,
the
I
Red
know we
Revolution.
weren't even on this. We weren't even on this point. We can stop with the Nazi apologetics for a moment. So
Oh, Nazi apologetics? I'm sorry, you're the
yes,
one that's apologizing for
you're
Nazis.
defending allying with Nazis right now. Like, you guys, wait,
I'm
please, just for a
defending
moment, just for a moment, just for a moment.
you're
Please. I just think it's really funny that you guys screech about the Azov battalion because there were like 2,000 guys out of hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers who are Nazis. But meanwhile, the Soviets literally allied and split up Poland with the Nazis for years, and you guys are like, they had no choice. Like, you're like, oh, Zelensky is going to throw Nazi militias at the Russian invaders. This means the entire country is a Nazi. Oh, but the USSR working with the Nazis for years, peace talks, allying, trading territory, agreeing how to carve up Poland. Oh, that was a totally necessary. Like, again, I know you don't actually believe in anything outside nationalism, so let's just move to the
I don't know
imperialism
if you
bit.
don't believe in anything other than siding with U.S. imperialism, but that's really besides the point.
Right,
The
right.
point is, the Union was in a position that they had to make sure that millions of their people were not slaughtered by the Nazis.
I know. It's fine. It's okay. Wait, I want to get to the imperialism thing. Please.
If all these countries would have actually signed with the Soviet Union, which is what Stalin tried to push in initially, the Soviet Union would have never had to have a defense pact
Gotcha.
with
Thank
Nazi
you.
Germany.
I agree with you. Allying with Nazis is fine. Thank you. So anyway, with the imperialism thing. So we agree that America invading and occupying Germany was U.S. imperialism, right? Considering that it was the U.S. doing it, and we invaded, and we literally occupied territory.
Wartime army and allowed a bunch of literal Nazis after the fall of Nazi Germany into the government, going into NASA.
Well, you're in favor of allying with Nazis, so you shouldn't have an issue with that. So
I am in favor of allying with anti-imperialist powers.
So
you are in favor of allying with Nazis.
So anyway, now that we've agreed that there was at least one instance of American imperialism that was morally justifiable, maybe we can acknowledge that
it was not morally justifiable to occupy West Germany. Let's be very clear. The United States should have pulled out entirely, only gave them financial resources to rebuild and support the reunification of Germany under a Soviet government.
What? Why? Wait. Why would they just give West Germany to the Soviets? The West Germans didn't. Wait. What? Wait. Why would they do that? Wait. Don't do so. So USSR could just annex Germany.
Germany was unified under the Soviet Union. That would have been the best way moving forward for the German people. Instead, now you ended up having Germany split in two.
The West Germans disagree.
And that was the creation of the West.
Okay, I know you're angry that you lost the Cold War, and that the communists won, but East Germans are on our side now.
The Cold War is continued, except now China is leading the Cold War.
The fact that you believe that explains so much of your ideology. Okay, so anyway, even if the U.S. had only provided aid to West Germany and only done the invasion, that still would have been imperialism, because exercising your power over another country is by definition
an economic system. It's not just invading a country.
Oh my god!
I
can't get to anything. I can't do any. I can't get to any talking point with this guy. Holy shit! Okay, so whatever would have happened, America's involvement in World War II was a broadly justifiable act of American imperialism.
End of the Second World War. After the end, it would have been better for Germany to reunify.
Okay, wait, stop, please, stop with running off to other talking. Please, I'm just talking about U.S. imperialism, World War II. We get it. You like the USSR. You have virtue signaled sufficiently. I am begging you for just a second to please stick to one topic. Holy shit. Okay.
I love it.
No, I know you love it because, like, you're brain damaged. You literally just got out of a cult. Like, you can't be proud of your ignorance when you were just suckered by a cult leader sex pest. Like, you're literally like talking to me as though this is part of some like broader ideological victory on your part when you just got fucked. A person you trusted like turned out to be a lunatic. And I'm trying to get to one point, and like it's abundantly clear to me how this happened to you. So I'm just gonna try to. Okay, so if American imperialism was justifiable in an element of World War II,
and I never made that argument. We don't agree on this part.
We don't agree that stopping the Nazis was good?
we agree that stopping the Nazis was good, but that wasn't an act of imperialism.
Okay.
That was supporting the Soviet Union.
When you invade a country and take over an area of that country, that is imperialism.
No, it is not. Imperialism is an economic system. It is the highest stage of capitalism.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to say that. The talking points. First of all,
it's a talking point.
So first of all, you literally just talked about how we should have provided economic aid to West Germany. That would have been imperialism by the Leninist definition.
No. We should have provided economic aid for the whole of Germany, supporting the Soviet Union. And assuming that FDR didn't end up croaking, we would probably be still allied with the Soviet Union. It probably would still exist today, and the United States would have been moving towards socialism.
I guess it's ironic for somebody who claims to care about material conditions for you to be rooted entirely in an imagined version of the past. Jesus Christ, you sound like those Rhodesia fanatics in England, you know? Like, if only this or that had happened, then maybe we still could have had our white supremacist...
Let's be very clear.
Let's be what?
Let's be very clear. Fuck Rhodesia. That is not a real country.
Well, I know you don't think so because
never actually happened. That was backed by the CIA.
Yeah, I know you believe that because it was an English project. But if the Soviet Union had done Rhodesia, you would be talking about how they were trying to advance proletarian interests with the vanguard party of Russian agents in Africa. You would talk about how Zimbabwe is like a fake state that emerged only because of CIA involvement. Like the only thing you care about here is national interest. You've made that abundantly clear. You can't say anything apart from like eulogizing the Soviet Union.
Scale.
What?
I care about the progress of the working class on a global scale.
I'm sure. Okay. I'm trying to get you around to one point, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, let me try this, okay? The United States is more socialist than Russia or China is, and I support NATO because they advance the self-determined interests of countries that are a part of NATO, which is a part of Marxist thought. National self-determination.
How is the United States more socialist than any country?
I know it's crazy, right? But it's true. I genuinely believe that.
What reasoning? Based on what material conditions are you talking?
Well, first of all, the United States is a liberal democracy, and Russia and China are both dictatorships.
Liberal democracy is not closer to socialism. No,
than a dictatorship. It absolutely is.
Literally, Vosh. Karl Marx argued against liberalism. Okay, so no.
But he argued in favor of democracy, though. Have you actually read Marx? Did you know that he did you know Marx actually wait, please, you haven't read Marx. I'll help you. Did you know Marx actually believed that the United States through its democracy could become a communist society, socialist state, whatever?
One of the examples of how Karl Marx is wrong. He believed that capitalism would naturally turn into socialism.
No, wait. No. He generally believed that violent revolution was necessary, but he was so enthusiastic about American democracy, he thought it possible that it could be achieved peacefully here. An indication that Marx thought positively of democracies.
Wrong. As explained by Lenin, what Karl Marx got wrong was that capitalism would not inherently lead to socialism. There would be a monopolization that would happen under capitalism that would create, inevitably, imperialism.
So imperialism didn't exist before capitalism?
Yes, empires existed, but empires and imperialism are not the same thing.
What is the etymological root of imperialism? Could you tell me?
It is monopoly capitalism at its highest state.
The etymological root of the word imperialism. Where did it come from?
I don't care about the academic...
it's not academic. It's you can't argue that imperialism didn't exist under empires when the term imperialism derived from empires.
Liberals. That is the wrong definition. It is not the definition of Lenin. Only the definition of Lenin is correct.
Gotcha. Great. Anyway, democracy is a socialist principle. It is, you can't really separate the two. The idea of self-governance by the working class is essential to socialist thought. So,
bourgeois democracy is not inherent to socialism.
I didn't say bourgeois democracy. I said democracy.
What the United States has is bourgeois democracy. They
Yeah,
do not have real
no
democracy.
shit. I said liberal democracy. What is a liberal democracy but bourgeois?
Hey, is somehow closer to socialism when they have bourgeois democracy, which you admit.
Yeah, because it's better than authoritarianism.
That doesn't mean that it is socialism.
I didn't say it was
No,
socialism. I said it was closer to socialism.
it's not closer to socialism. It is not.
Democracy, even if it's bourgeois democracy, is closer to socialism
Or it is
than
not.
authoritarianism is.
No, it
This
is
was the
not.
opinion of Marx, Lenin, and Mao. All three agreed that there were systems of government farther from socialism.
referring to countries that would later come about, like the Ba'athist states of like Syria and Iraq.
So,
They were referring to
as a,
anti-imperial powers like Iran. They were
it's
referring
Iran. It's Iran.
to for like Venezuela and Nicaragua that are moving towards socialism, but have fully accomplished socialism.
So,
They were not referring to bourgeois democracy.
as I was saying, if you'd read Lenin or Mao, you would know that they all agreed there are systems of government farther from socialism and less conducive to socialist activism than bourgeois democracy. For example, fascism, that's one, and imperialist autocracy.
It's under Karl Marx, so no.
You wait, I didn't hear you. You cut off.
I know for a fact that when Karl Marx was alive, there was no fascism.
That's why I just said Mao and Lenin.
Well, you also included Karl Marx, so...
No, the last two people I said were Mao and Lenin, and I said that they wrote and agreed that there were systems of government further from socialism than...
So included Karl Marx.
What?
You also included Karl Marx. You did not just talk about Lenin and Mao. You also included Karl Marx.
You can't blame me for you not listening, man. Look.
You can't blame me for me listening to you not knowing what the fuck you're talking about.
I specified Mao and... Okay, it doesn't matter. So anyway, now that we've agreed that important people whose opinions you care about very much, they believed that liberal democracy was preferable to other systems of government in relation to socialism.
They did not believe that bourgeois democracy was closer to socialism. That is not true, and you know it's not true.
If you read these guys, they did in fact think that there were systems of government further from socialism than liberal democracy. This is the whole dialectical...
You would know that they were referring to countries that would be more like Iran or Ba'athist countries or countries like Venezuela or Nicaragua. They were not talking about bourgeois democracies.
They were. This is why, again, you can read stuff that Lenin wrote on the British Labour Party back in the early 20th century. You can read stuff that Marx wrote. Please.
Support the Labour Party as a means to make it eat itself. That does not mean that he supported bourgeois democracy.
I did not say... Oh my God, please. Okay, wait, I'm begging you. I am not saying they supported bourgeois democracy. I am saying... No, please, no, listen, I can help you. I'm helping, okay? I'm saying...
Helping? Are you helping? I think
I'm helping you. I'm helping you. Please, God. I'm like Mother Teresa. I'm leaning down. You have brain leprosy. I'm trying to help you. The bits of your gray matter are falling off, and I'm trying to replace them. Listen, I'm not saying they supported bourgeois democracy. I am saying they preferred bourgeois democracy to some other systems of government.
They never said that, and you literally did.
They did. They explicitly. Lenin allied with the social democrat liberal reformists of the post-Russian Empire when fighting against the what are they called? The Black Knives. Mao put on hold fighting against the PRC so they could both resist Imperial China.
Lenin and the Bolsheviks sided with one side of the ruling class that was against the
Black
First
Hundreds.
World War. That for the fight against the side of the ruling class that was for continuing the First World War. It was politics. This is how politics works. At the end of the day,
I'm talking about politics.
Were ripped from power. They were not unified within the Bolshevik Party. They were kicked out of politics entirely. In some cases, actually imprisoned.
What are you talking about? I'm only saying that both Mao and Lenin allied with
yes, they temporarily allied with people that were part of one segment of the ruling class to force the other side of the ruling class out of power.
Yes.
And then
now, why? So why did Mao choose the PRC to fight with over Imperial Japan? And why did Lenin choose the liberal reformists over the Black Hundreds?
People under the Red Revolution.
What?
Because the Japanese imperialists were slaughtering the people that were under the banner of the Red Revolution.
Okay, so okay, great. So the Imperial Japanese were worse than the PRC during the occupation of Manchuria. Or sorry, not the PRC, the ROC, the Republic of China.
For a temporary alliance to defeat them.
Okay, I agree. So maybe bourgeois democracy or liberal democracy exists as a kind of tool that socialists can use and exploit in order to achieve real socialism, whereas systems like dictatorship and fascism are harder for socialists to exploit.
The difference between Japanese imperialism and, say, American imperialism is that Japan was not in the position to extract the wealth of the global south, the South and Far East. However, the United States imperialists are in that position. They are the main enemy in our time period.
First of all, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. Second of all, Japan was literally creating the Southeast Asian prosperity sphere. They were literally creating an imperial empire at the time. They were worse than us. They slaughtered millions. America has exploitative trade deals these days.
Millions. How many? We did the Banana Wars.
Okay, are you going? Wait, please tell me. Wait, please tell me that America today.
The wars in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Vietnam.
He's going through the list. I actually think, I genuinely think, if you went over like all those wars,
all the governments
he's not stopping.
In Central America. You're trying to tell me that the U.S. imperialists are actually better than the Japanese imperialists, or better than almost any other imperialists other than maybe the British?
Okay, hold on. Real quick, even if you added all of those together, yeah, I do think that America is a hell of a lot better than the Imperial Japanese. I know you don't think that because America bad is your only ideology, but
with a logical position because you're a national chauvinist that supports the United States no matter what.
Are you a pro rape of Nanking? Out of curiosity,
I don't know what that is.
Holy shit. Wow. Jesus. Fuck. Yeah. Chat, where do I go? Where do I go next? Fuck. No, I know. Me too. How's your day going?
So why do you support Ukraine? Why do you actually support Ukraine?
I could answer, but you're not gonna like it. You're gonna have some weird.
I want you to answer so I can knock it down. So go ahead and answer.
Oh, okay. Because the people of Ukraine don't want to be invaded by Russia. That's why. That's at the end of the day, that's the only reason.
Region, 14,000 of them wanted to be slaughtered by the Azov battalion and other Nazi.
I said he's gotta have a weird. Like, what the fuck does this have to do with not wanting them to get invaded? Like, it's like totally tangential. So again, the reason I support them is because they don't want to be invaded by Russia. No weird Azov analogy can, like, no parallel can take away from that.
The People's Donbass Republic. Why?
Because there's not like an actual answer here, right? The funny thing is that the Marxist principle of self-determination is critical to like mainstream socialist thought, but that's like totally inapplicable to these chauvinists. Fuck.
I'm the chauvinist. Yeah, I'm the chauvinist, not you that supports U.S. empire and imperialism. Sure, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Sure.
It does.
Sure.
It genuinely does outside of your bubble. You know, you're like a Nazi grasping for air. I'm like, did you know that the transnational banking class is universal? And you're like, but the Jews, like you're like completely. I'm trying to explain to a fish what water is. Like, you're so, you know.
You're trying to explain why we should support U.S. imperialism.
No, I
That's what
just
you're
said
saying.
that I support Ukraine in this war because they don't want to be
Would
invaded
be
by
supporting
Russia.
U.S. imperialism because they are a puppet of the U.S. government. They have been a
Sure,
puppet of the U.S. government since 2014.
sure,
Yes,
sure.
sure, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Maybe we should. Okay, let's try a new tactic. Okay, I support Ukraine because I'm an American chauvinist and I want America to conquer the world. I believe America is true socialism. The founding fathers, with their constitution, enshrined socialism into the law of the land, and I think that you're a fascist, and I think that you're a revisionist, and yeah, we're gonna do global American
Oh,
socialism.
I'm the revisionist. The
Unironically, yes.
Bosch
You're
always
actually
claiming
the most
revision.
revisionist human in existence. There's nobody more revisionist
No,
than you.
revisionism doesn't exist. That's first off, okay?
Wait,
Revisionism is
what
not
did you
a
just
thing.
say?
Yeah, revisionism is not a thing. Material conditions change, therefore your ideology should change based on those material conditions.
This man, his whole family and his entire town would have been shot in fucking Stalinist Russia, dude. Holy shit. It would not have been enough for them to have gotten you, man. They would have fucking nuked your home village. Jesus Christ. Oh god. Hmm.
You
Okay.
actually are supporting U.S.
Yeah,
imperialism as well.
I know. NPC dialogue line reset. It's like ending a convo with a Skyrim NPC and then restarting it, and you get the same opening line from them. Yeah. So
Maybe,
anyway, I support Ukraine because I want them to kill all Russians because that's good for America or something. I don't know. What do you think?
maybe if you stop supporting U.S. imperialism and actually viewed outside of your national chauvinist lens, we would actually be able to get through your thick skull of what things are actually like in the
What
world.
what if America is socialism? Then wouldn't you actually be the imperialist?
India and China are now working together against the United
As
States at the present.
fascists, yeah.
Of the systems the United States has implemented, where it keeps the global South and Far East oppressed, extracts the wealth, and then pays the labor aristocracy in the United States, which is people like you, Vosh.
We have to
You
do
are
all of
that
that to build
labor.
socialism. All of that
Yeah,
is
you're
necessary
totally
for
building
socialism.
socialism if you sit on your fucking stream. So yeah, you're so building socialism right now, Vosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the best part is you actually believe it.
Yeah.
You actually believe
I'm
it.
doing one socialism per minute over here. We're achieving very high rates of socialism, yes. As an American. Only Americans can be socialist, actually. Because other nations are... What would somebody like you say? Other nations are pathogenically imperialist to their core and reactionary bourgeois states until they're reformed or something.
These things like it's sarcastic, but you actually believe them, and that's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
You say it sarcastically, but you actually believe in it.
So what's next?
So what's next? What's next in what context?
Well, it seems like I'm winning. U.S. is still on top. China is having a housing crash. They're going to have a population dip once their population boom lets lower numbers. India is not even like fully committing to support Russia in the conflict. Neither is China. They're both kind of like dropping them like an ugly stepsister.
Like, you're so coping right now. The United States is experiencing a massive decline. You know, the material conditions, we have roads that are being reclaimed all across this country, turning back into dirt roads. We have
yeah, that's called environmentalism.
like San Antonio, Texas, that last year, where the water supply was poisoned. We have, Flint, Michigan, that still doesn't have clean water. We have highways that are falling apart. We have rail systems
bourgeois
that are decaying.
Highways.
You're talking about all of these systems, right? Or rather, I'm talking about all these systems that are collapsing right in front of our eyes right now. And you actually think, while China is out there building high-speed rail, while Russia is advancing their oil production, while you have countries like Venezuela,
Russian oil is doing great right now.
We have the United States collapsing, and you think that the United States is on top. That's insane.
Yeah.
You are absolutely insane.
We don't have money for infrastructure because we're spending all of it on socialism.
We don't have money because we're spending on the military-industrial complex.
The socialist... Wait, the military-industrial complex owned by the government? Socialism.
The fuck did you even say?
The military-industrial complex. It's controlled by the DoD, the largest employer in the United States, aka state-owned enterprise, aka socialism.
Socialism is not just state enterprise. That's
Yes, it
state
is.
capitalism.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Also,
Like,
you're a revisionist.
also, you're an idiot. Okay, so let's be very fucking clear. All right, the United States is collapsing. It is decaying right now. People's economic, material conditions are decreasing. More and more people are homeless. You try to tell me the United States is on top when you drive through Seattle and you see a town of tents, when you drive through Los Angeles and you see a city of tents on the sidewalk, and you really think that the United States is doing better? Meanwhile, you have countries like China that's building the Three or Forge Gorge Dam, that is the largest dam that has ever been built by human beings in the world. You think that countries like China and Russia that are working together to develop fusion energy, you really seriously think that they're the ones that are declining, and it's not the United States that doesn't even have proper clean water?
It's
When you look
funny.
at Europe and
It's funny how
gas
you would
prices
say
right now.
it's funny how you would say the collapse of the United States is bad for America when the dissolution of the state is a prerequisite for communism. Look who's the communist now.
The conditions of the United States and working people is getting worse for this country. I don't want working people in this country to suffer. I want a government that actually represents working people and not multinational corporations. The very exact thing that you say that you support because you're supposedly some sort of socialist.
No,
right?
we need the multinational corporations to take the wealth back that's been extracted from the West.
Say it again?
We need the multinational corporations to take back the wealth that's been taken from the West by countries like Nicaragua and Guam.
Oh yeah, it's the so basically
Nigeria.
you're saying we should have imperialism, right? To supposedly build back the labor aristocracy in the country.
Do you know how many dollars worth of bombs we gave to Laos for free?
I absolutely agree. The United States shouldn't be giving bombs to anyone. That's one of the reasons why I'm against Joe Biden selling weapons to Saudi Arabia to bomb the Yemenis people, right? And that's part of the reason I'm glad that Saudi Arabia is now moving in the direction to be part of BRICS, so they are no longer part of this U.S. imperialist system. I'm glad that Israel and Saudi Arabia are selling off the reserves of the U.S. dollar, and I'm glad that they're buying the Chinese yuan, because that means eventually these countries are going to move in a direction that actually takes care of their people instead of oppressing them.
Yeah, taking care of their people through degenerate bourgeois pacification, which supplants class consciousness. American economic austerity is designed to maximize class consciousness, which is why America is the most pro-labor union and pro-socialist country on earth.
Strong Communist Party and Socialist Party of America during the times of, the last few decades, right? When U.S. empire was expanding and bombing all these different countries, right? That's
liberating.
Why the Communist and Socialist Party of America was at its height, right? No, it was at its height during the 1930s and 1940s, coming out of the Great Depression.
The largest party in the United States today is a communist party.
When the labor aristocracy is weak, that is when the United States has strong class tendencies within the country.
If you think class consciousness is at an all-time low in the U.S., then how did Biden win with record high votes in 2020?
Are you seriously suggesting that Joe Biden was a vote of class consciousness?
Are you suggesting he wasn't?
Yes, absolutely I am.
Delusional.
That is not a class conscious vote. People voted for Joe Biden because they were sick of Donald Trump. That was it.
The vote for Joe Biden was a victory for the working class over the liberal reactionaries who supported Donald Trump. Were only China and India capable of following in our footsteps? If Russia could, they wouldn't be in the quagmire they're in right now, as the glorious socialist vanguard of Ukraine pushes back their weak and inept invasion attempts. As our socialist HIMARS rain down thermokinetic bombs on your ammo depots.
Yeah, let's be very clear. Ukraine banned socialist and communist parties. How could they possibly be a glorious vanguard of a country that are literally banning and killing communists?
They're not killing any communists.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
They've communists. They've killed Roma people. They've killed Russians. They've dared to kill Ukrainian citizens that just happen to be more on the side of Russia than Ukraine.
No, they haven't.
They've slaughtered so many freaking people. Yes, they have.
No,
And
Ukraine has not
you can
killed a
look.
single person.
Okay,
All
clearly you
Russian
cannot be
casualties have
actually
been due to
arguing
friendly fire,
with me.
such is the ineptitude of the fake socialist, bourgeois capitalist state of Russia. The
I'm
oligarchs have not
arguing
trained their men
against
well.
the character of you right now, which is pretty fucking funny because you basically you're not having an intellectually honest conversation with me right now. What you're doing is creating the most sarcastic points that you don't actually even believe in the first place to try to argue against my position at this point. That's all you're doing.
I'm just trying to match the tone. It's something autistic people do when they're in mixed company. I'm just trying to match the level of retardation present in this conversation so that we can communicate on the same level.
That clearly what you're saying right now, that's not ableist at all.
Ableism isn't real. Socialism requires a frank, candid, and scientific understanding of the distinction between retards and non-retards, exemplified by this conversation, determined largely by whether a person agrees with me or not.
Can you just admit that you've lost this debate?
How could I lose?
Clearly,
I'm American.
Yankee won this debate. The Red Phoenix is rising. We have defeated Vosh. This character can't bring an argument against us. It is clear to me that the Yankee Tanky has won. We are victorious! Solidarity, comrades!
I want you guys to know that it took an overwhelming amount of self-control on my part when he was talking about me sitting at my home streaming to not make jokes about our relative class positions. It took an overwhelming amount of self-control to not really unload on that guy. And I gotta say, I'm really proud of myself. Yeah. That was LARPy as fuck. It's important to understand, because, like, I've done this enough times to recognize it, that, like most fascists, that guy believes and also doesn't believe most of what he said. So the problem, obviously, the problem with that convo is that he will just state things that are factually untrue, and anytime, like, a clarifying follow-up is pointed, he'll either double down on it, or he'll just move to another thing. There's no actual point in a conversation. You legitimately might as well argue with a magic 8-ball. But as is often the case with people like that, he simultaneously does and does not believe the stuff that he's saying. You've probably noticed that before with, like, 4chan type fascists, where like, they'll say some obviously ridiculous shit, and the extent to which they believe it is kind of determined by how well the comedic element of what they've said goes over. That's why I called him anti-empiricist from the beginning. Though I didn't think he'd be that bad. Did he ever figure out that you were making fun of him? I think he figured it out at the last bit right there, and that's why he left in that fashion, which was fairly embarrassing. I mean, obviously, like, oh man, I don't want to be super mean, but guys, remember when I was going over the Caleb MAUPIN stuff? And I was like, don't feel too bad for these guys, because even though they're victims of an abusive cult, they're still fascists. Right? I mean, keep in mind, like, this is the type of person we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people who, it's not just they got suckered into the cult, like, it's a fascist cult. So, you know, yeah. How do you deal with people who don't care about the truth or what they say or don't feel ashamed about it? You can't. There's not actually a way. The only thing that you can do with people like that is humiliate and abuse them. That's it. Like, if you're arguing with them, the only thing you can do is make them cry. I know that sounds like overwrought, but it's completely true. Like, if you're arguing with somebody like that, it stops being about the arguments, and it's entirely about, like, bullying them. Because if they like get flustered or look weak or whatever, I didn't want to go super hard against that guy because, again, like, he did literally, like a week ago, he was in a cult, like an actual proper cult, you know? But, like, damn, man. He's not exactly, abundant of moral character. Sheesh. The Nanking bit was crazy. Yeah, him not knowing about the rape of Nanking. I guess it really does, like, it really does indicate that the only political education these guys have is a collection of talking points about how America's bad and countries that aren't America are good, you know, but that, and like, that's it. There's no political education outside of that. My mouth actually fell open. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty fucking insane. Basically on the tier of Holocaust denial. Yeah, I hope so. Maybe this can serve as a reinforcement of what I said before. This is what I mean when I say that I actually find it easier to talk with Nazis than I do people like that. First of all, I don't believe there's that much of a like difference in their ideologies. If you got into like the root of it, he would defend any genocide or ethnic oppression done by any of the states that he defends. You know, Syria, China, India, you know he'd defend Modi. Russia, anything. Like the death count, the total death count of like all the stuff that he would defend. Yeah, like would rack up into the millions easily. Yeah, Assad. So it's, you know, obviously just in like the flat moral equivacy, I think there's something there. But additionally, like with regards to the Nazis, usually they're delusional on like a collection of issues that I'm kind of like prepared for. Like I know the talking point. It's, you know, they have all the same talking points about Holocaust denial, like the camps, you know, they're all like, ooh, wooden doors, swimming pools, blah, blah. I know these talking points. And you can argue against them point by point. Not to say they'll listen necessarily, but you can. But in his case, I'm sure you guys noticed, that guy is delusional about like 80% of all things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a collection of things, it's all things, even remotely affiliated with any of these topics, which makes it which just makes it very difficult to have a conversation. Oh my god, Vosh, I just realized I met that guy IRL in New York City and he was like, you blocked me on Twitter. Huh, wonder why. Jesus. That's wild. Well, I guess that guy gets outside somewhat then. Do you think that cultist could be turned to our side? No, I think that guy is as far from a good potential comrade as any person can be. I mean that sincerely. I would prefer almost any, like literally almost any group, any member of any group before I would like go to that group right there. Which is why it chafes me so much that they call themselves socialists. The fact that he said revisionism wasn't a thing, the fact that he said that Marx was like incorrect on points of self-determination and like democracy being preferable to authoritarianism. Yeah, just oof. Oof, 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 oof. Wild stuff out there. Well, let's not belabor the point too much. It's actually a oh yeah, here is the Twitter co-post from him right after the fact. This is what I mean about them not actually believing anything. I mean, it's obviously this guy is susceptible to cult mentality because he was literally in a cult. So now he's like mocking, or not mocking, sorry. He's mimicking Infrahaz. So I guess this guy's whole life is going to be him like Frankenstein cobbling together other people's mannerisms. But anyway, like behavior like this, you know, there's not much to be done outside of mocking them, really. This tweet confirms he only did it for the clout. With respect, who the fuck cares? He's literally homeless. That's why he filmed that from an alley. He's been open about this. He lives in an abandoned house. He just got out of a cult. I'm in a nice house and I'm rich. Like, what am I going to do? Get mad about that? As far as remember what I said before about political mental illness? Like, as far as I'm concerned, in a functional sense, he's mentally ill. Like, you can't have politics like that and be well-ordered in the mind. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. I'm right, and I'll die thinking that I'm right on that. So, like, I don't, like, whatever, man. I get that feeling sometimes from people. I got that feeling from Mel, too, where they have so little going for themselves that just, like, the feeling of elation that they get from the attention and the, you know, the engagement from like, you know, being dunked on online is like the main thing they like. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Shit like that actually depresses me, man. Oh god. I'm not playing it up for a bit. I actually just give me 1 second, okay? We have politics to talk about. Just give me a second. Fuck. I knew this would be a bad idea. Ugh. I mean, I had fun with the convo, don't get me wrong. It's just like, holy shit. Whew. He actually did win. He did psychic damage. Yeah, I guess so. Vosh, I'm currently living in Iran. The house prices are rocketing to the roof right here. Yeah, guys, here's a quick tip, okay? Do you guys want to hear, like, a devastating truth that socialists don't want to know? All right? The places in the world with the best quality of life that provide the most for their citizens, it's the West. Even America, which is shit in a lot of ways, mostly outdoes by huge margins all of the countries that they'll claim are, like, standing up for the proletariat. You know why? Because we have money. It's that simple. We have money and we're a democracy. You need a democracy because it establishes some baseline level of political accountability, which is important, and you need money because infrastructure is expensive. Even America, as pathologically, inhumanely evil as it can be to its own citizens, you know, we do have a fuck ton of money, so that allows us to do a lot of stuff. You go all around the world, all these other countries, and there are problems there too. But there are no socialist countries. Nowhere in the world right now, nowhere is there a socialist country. Always remember that. Always, okay? Because otherwise you get like it's like, oh, is this the best we can do? No, it's not. The project for political betterment is a centuries, millennia long one. Democracy, as we understand it, we attribute it to the ancient Greeks. In reality, it's more complicated, but let's just say ancient Greeks, you know? They have an idea for democracy. How many years did it take for democracy to go from an idea to an implemented in practice concept that was actually respected on a governmental level? Thousands. Literal fucking millennia. Ancient Greece. And you could argue that right now, today, we still don't have a properly functional democracy. I don't think that 1776 marked the creation of a real democracy with only landowning white men being able to vote. But, you know, let's say, I don't know, passage of the Civil Rights Act or, you know, however you want to, like, say, whatever threshold we're putting for a functional democracy, even a liberal democracy, millennia, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years. So don't be disheartened, okay? There are no socialist countries. We don't know how high the ceiling is. Might be really high up. Might be things can get really, really good. You can link it, Comrade Tyler. Godspeed. You mean politically, mentally unwell isn't someone whose opinions and political action serves to work against them? Well, I think that about a lot of people. No, it's more just that, like, the level of anti-empiricism, the level of detachment from reality that you have to have those ideas, it like mimics or parallels mentally unwell behavior, you know? Isn't China building a lot of infrastructure, though? They are, but it's not as nice and pretty as a lot of people want you to think it is. First of all, a lot of the infrastructure that China builds, in terms of its quality, is not exactly what we would consider to be up to par. Second, the economic planning behind it ain't always great. You know, even for a country like China, it's possible for them to misappropriate resources. Oh shit, let me finish this point, then I'll look at that. Third, a lot of the stuff that gets built in China ends up going to waste. Because they plan out these cities that don't, like, the actual, like, allocation of people doesn't line up with the models that they have out there. And additionally, keep in mind, guys, the infrastructure that China is building is infrastructure that serves to like enable shitty fucking American car culture, you know? Like, people talk about high-speed rail across China, and that's good and all. Don't get me wrong. But take a look at a lot of Chinese infrastructure in the cities they build and stuff. You know, a lot of it is just like gigantic shopping malls with parking lots the size of a crater on the moon, with freeways and roads and blah, 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 you know? They're like speed building, like you know, like kind of a worse version of what America did somewhat more organically during the 40s, 50s, and 60s, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's preferable to, you know, a lot of other countries' plans. Got it, American best, rah rah. No, I'm not saying America's the best. I'm saying don't be dogmatic in how you appraise the accomplishments of other countries. There are plenty of bad things that America does, but you know, you should be critical. Guys, China is an authoritarian, like, state capitalist nation. There's no reason to look at its projects without a critical eye. You should be able to look at what they're doing and go, you know, okay, well, they're doing this better than us, but there are still some serious problems. That's like standard analysis right there. That's important. Okay, let me, I'll read donos broadly in a bit. I'll read one dono right now, and then I'm going to do some politics. Politics is good. Actually, it sucks. I hate politics, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my job. And also because I like it, even though it sucks. We got some nice stuff to talk about. Hypnotized Monkey. Thank you for the insanely kind $150. Been watching for a couple years. Now that I'm graduated and not a poor student anymore, I can afford to do this. Here's your back pay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Of course, everyone who watches me without donating does, you know, owe me back pay. That is certainly the case. So thank you for being a good citizen, a good viewer, and putting forward the effort right away. I've got a segment I want to look at. Before we do that, though, real quick, before we do that, I just want to say, can I make a confession to you guys before we go ahead and do politics? I think I fucked up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a smidge. I mean that sincerely. See, I am by default, you're ready for a little speech, you know. By my nature, I am a lazy person. I don't run away from that. That has always been the case. I could not pretend that's not the case. It would be impossible for me to get away with pretending that that's not the case. I'm just work shy, you know. Call it an ADHD thing, whatever, you know. It's good to be a hard worker in general. But I think I've slipped a bit on the streaming. I really do, you know. I don't stream especially long hours, and the reason for that is because I like to approach all my streams with the attitude of a stand-up comic, you know? The idea being, there are people who can do like 8-9 hour streams, like watching stuff, reacting, but I like everything to be high energy, you know? I like having like a burst of creativity and enthusiasm that I can channel into a more mid-tier, you know, like mid-length, you know, like a 3 to 4 to 5 hour block, that kind of thing, you know. I think it provides better content, which I would like to do. It's my style. I like it, but I think I've gotten complacent. I really do. You know, I think I've gotten to the point where it's like, because I've thought, you know, my sub growth has stalled for a while. I gain subs pretty quickly, but I lose them at the same rate. I can see the charts on my back end. It's like 200 or 300 subs lost and gained a day because I'm controversial, so people leave, you know. New people join, and I think I've gotten a little bit complacent, really. Like, you know, oh, this is my role now. What I'm saying is, fundamentally, I think I've lost the hunger a little bit, like an aggressive drive to better the streams and to improve them and to you know, to increase the size of my audience, which of course is what I want, you know, obviously. Are you announcing retirement? No, I'm announcing the opposite of retirement. I am announcing the detirement. All right? We're going to try. All right? I'm going to make a goddamn effort. All right? The retardedment. Exactly. We're untiring. We're engaging. We're going to try to kick shit back into high gear. And I mean that. Okay? If we're doing our stun locks, they're going to be less meandering. We're coming into these streams the fucking game plan. We're going to try and get debates, proper convos. You know what? That guy right there, I might not be able to convince that guy the sky is blue, but it sure is politically enlightening to understand how the fuck his mind works, isn't it? There's something valuable to that. Back to the email debates. We're gunning for it again. Absolutely we are. It's Vosh 2.0. And we're going to do it, folks. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to get that drive back. You know, that's the problem. I've spent the past year, and this isn't the end of the Fortress arc. No, we're still not making drama the driving force of the community. We're still going to be principled and forward moving, but we're going to be fucking energetic about it. You know, for the past year, the issue is for the past year, you know, because I have such a reputation, and I think, you know, maybe if I calm down, be less of a debate bro, you know, maybe if I, you know, I be more, calm, more engaged. Fuck that bullshit. I don't enjoy any of that. I don't like being a moderate. I don't want to be a moderate. I love being aggressive. I love making people angry. So from the Fortress, we are now going to be we're upping the battlements. We're tossing rocks out. Okay, we're going to be aggressive advocate for my dumb fuck positions. Okay, that's it. And you all can hold me to that. No changes made in a day. Okay, it's the catapult arc. All right, we're Vosh's moving castle. Wait, that's good though. Vosh's moving castle. That's good, though. I like that. We can work with that. Absolutely. The Fortress. You know, don't worry. Vosh isn't coming after us. You know, rumbling as the mountainside trembles as the parapets of a gigantic castle on legs charging towards them. I believe there is also a Vosh's moving castle meme image. Where the bellows of the castle contain, I think the meme text said, enormous quantities of child pornography. So we are going to have another meme edit, one slightly slightly less defamatory, and it will be good. Oh, it's going to be good. Why can't Vosh's castle fly? Wait, did I say, is it Vosh's flying castle? Vosh's moving cat? What's the term? What was the movie? Is moving, right? Yeah, moving, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, flying castle, it's the flying fortress. That's a different thing. Yes, there we go. I can't deny the artistry that went into the construction of this one. See, this is what I have up on Germa, okay? It's that the memes that people make about me are as, if not more, psychotic than the memes the Germa fans make about him. Far more defamatory as well. And I engage with them way more directly. Fantastic stuff. Look at my little legs. All right. Moving on. Wait, somebody earlier said something. Somebody in chat just a second ago said Gorbachev dead, and I don't think that's... Wait! He's dead? "5 minutes ago, Mikhail Gorbachev dead at 91 after being diagnosed with serious illness from Sputnik News." No. Wait. No, that can't be real. Yeah, no, there aren't any other sources. No. We need... Wait, Urdu Point says it? Well, was he still alive? Gorbachev? I mean, I knew that he was. I guess I just don't really think of him as being alive. I feel like he's politically dead. New York Times said he died 10 days ago? What? Wait, did I just completely miss this? Okay, this was from the Kiev Independent. Ex-Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev dies. Gorbachev was the general secretary of the Soviet Union Communist Party from 1985 through 1991. Damn! Wikipedia doesn't say he's dead. But now it does! Mikhail Sergeyevich Gorbachev was a Russian and former Soviet politician. He's dead! Just updated. That must have been like 60 seconds ago. Look at the box on the top. Oh, the article is being heavily edited because the subject recently died. Oh, yeah. Well, wow. When is it Kissinger's turn? One day. Speaking of revisionists here. Huh. Well, he lived to 91. You know, that's not nothing. It's, huh. Pity the Russians won't have the money for a state funeral. No, the hearse will have all the gasoline will have been sold off by the mortician. It'll just stall out. Oh god. How much of a state funeral? Yeah, I was thinking, how much of a state funeral do you think they're going to give him, considering the fact that, like, I don't think he's very popular right now. At all, actually. Now he's a Pizza Hut spokesman. Okay, the best possible thing that could happen here is that Putin refuses to give him a state funeral, but Pizza Hut does. That Pizza Hut does like a fake procession somewhere near headquarters. Oh, do they have a bit for it here? For those of you who don't know, the meme... So this guy oversaw the downfall of the Soviet Union, and he was one of the principal actors in the Soviet Union slash Russia's collaboration with the West. And now that Russia has gone hardline nationalist and like Soviet revivalist, Gorbachev is not popular at all. Oh yeah, better than Yeltsin, though. And anyway, he did an ad for Pizza Hut. If I look up pizza, there we go. Gorbachev appeared in a commercial such as television ad for Pizza Hut. Yeah, let's watch it real quick. So, I'll admit to a bit of ignorance here. I'm not spectacularly educated on Gorbachev in particular. I'm sure he's done many things I disagree with, but he wasn't a monster, right? He was nowhere near as incompetent or complicit as Yeltsin, and he wasn't, like, you know, mass imprisoning, you know, Stalin or, you know, whatever. Yeah, Reuters put out the article.
Это Горбачев.
Горбачев?
Это из-за него у нас в экономике бардак.
Да благодаря ему у нас новые возможности.
Это из-за него у нас политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас свобода.
Полный хаос.
Перспективы.
Политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас есть писахат.
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева! За Горбачева!
Sometimes nothing brings people together like a nice hot pizza from Pizza Hut.
You really cannot overstate how surreal this advertisement is. Imagine if America had lost the Cold War and we would have gotten an advertisement of like Bill Clinton or HW or something. who enjoying like, you know, Soviet Krupska, where like the Americans are like, we lost the Cold War, I'm angry as shit, and then somebody else is like, yeah, but now we get to enjoy borscht. Borscht is real good. And Bill Clinton's in the back, and he's just like, you know, like I like it's very strange. Yeah. Was this before or after Chernobyl? This is 1998. This is after Chernobyl. This was after the fall of the Soviet Union. Yeah. He wasn't in charge at this point. But still, it's you know, it's wacky. It's wacky stuff there. Very wacky. Okay, well, give me a sec. We've got time. I do want to see. I want to do a bit of a vibe check, you know, in memoriam. Unraveling of the USSR, presidency of Soviet Germany, August putsch and government crises, final collapse. Yeltsin took charge. Out of office, Gorbachev had more time to spend with his wife and family. Yeah, you know, I have to say, it's got to be really fucking weird, man. Like, seeing, like, the world. Look, I mean, here's him with Reagan, for God's sake. I mean, this guy kind of oversaw the downfall of the Soviet Union, and he's been, like, chummy with the West after. And now he's seen Putin take charge and all this Soviet revivalism, you know? And his country despises him. After Yeltsin's decision to lift price caps generated massive inflation and plunged many Russians into poverty, Gorbachev openly criticized him, comparing the reform to Stalin's policy of forced collectivization. Gorbachev called on Yeltsin to resign. Yeah, you know, it's not terrible. He had a presidential campaign promoting social democracy in Putin's Russia, growing criticism of Putin in foreign policy remarks. Huh. So does Putin like this guy or no? No, not even a little bit. As I understand it, the Soviet Union was, well, I've talked about that plenty, you know. And Gorbachev was like a proper liberal, right? Like, in every sense of the word. Like, I think Gorbachev's reformist attitude towards the USSR was essentially like, I mean, when it collapsed, I mean, he wanted to see Russia develop the way the West had. And then Yeltsin ended up being like a shock doctrine collaborator with no spine, and Gorbachev hated him for it. And Putin initially kind of seemed to be more of a promoter of like you know, like economic protectivism or protectionism, and rebuilding Russia and giving a sense of national shock therapy, not shock doctrine, like national identity. But then Putin got more overtly fascist over time. Yeah, and ended up deliberalizing Russia. So, yeah, I don't know. Wow, here's the most recent thing he did, I guess. In an interview with Russian news agency TASS on 20th of January 2021, Gorbachev said the relations between the U.S. and Russia are of great concern and called upon Joe Biden to begin talks with the Kremlin in order to make the two countries' intentions and actions clearer, and in order to normalize relations. On the 24th of December 2021, Gorbachev said the United States grew arrogant and self-confident after the collapse of the Soviet Union. I don't disagree with that. Resulting in a new empire, hence the idea of NATO expansion. He also endorsed the upcoming security talks between the U.S. and Russia, saying, "I hope there will be a result." On the 26th of February, the Gorbachev Foundation stated, in connection with Russia's military operation in Ukraine, we need to affirm an early cessation of hostilities and an immediate start of peace negotiations. There is nothing more precious in the world than human lives. Okay. It seems like he takes issue with the NATO expansionism, but isn't doing it as a bad faith cover for, like, defending Russia. Okay, yeah. You know. Well, Godspeed, Gorbachev. Yes, he has clarified NATO did not promise to expand. You know, Russia is a difficult country to be a good politician in. I'll say that much. All right, well, that is a thing that happened. A world leader has died. Politics? Huh? Somebody linked this, which seems to be fan art of myself and Tankies. There's what I look like. See, I know that I'm not an egg, because if I was secretly a trans girl, seeing this representation of me would make me think, oh, I wish I was like that, you know. However, I will say that if I was a girl, or in fact Conti, I would want a thick ass, you know. Of course, obviously. And I've got the little cats. Look at them. Ooh. They've even got the what just happened? Something Imager? What did I just do? I just zoomed in. What do you want from me? Okay. But whatever. Anyway, look, it's the cats. They got the little hats. Tanky hat? Nazi hat. Bosh, don't you already have a thick ass? I do already have a pretty nice ass, I would say, but it's not like amazing, you know. I got to be a bit more on the ball with the exercise for that. All right. Now, guys, what am I a principled advocate of? That's right, the Second Amendment. And most of the time, nothing particularly well, a lot of things, that's right. Most of the time, nothing particularly satisfying comes about from that particular political principle. But every once in a while, it does. Take a look at this! Armed volunteers in Texas protect a drag event from a bunch of far-right bigots. The caption tells you all you need to know, but...
Hey, she just spit on me. She just spat on me.
Well, what did you call them earlier when you were talking to them? Didn't you call them a bunch of fucking pussies?
No, I called them pussies.
Yeah, I mean, these people here.
No, just the ones that are wielding AR-47.
So what are you here to do today?
I'm here to support people that don't indoctrinate and groom little 8-year-old kids. Credulous.
So why do you need to get in someone's face?
I wasn't. I was walking over here to talk somewhere. Come over here with me.
So the gist of it was there was just a drag brunch event. I mean, nothing sinister. No one's getting hurt, obviously. But there were going to be counter-protesters at this event. Well, I guess they're protesters, not counter-protesters. The far-right people who showed up, they're not counter-protesting because a drag brunch itself is not a protest. Anyhow, what we see here is a perfect exemplification of the ideal of responsible gun use for political purposes, okay? And I've said this before. Do not bring guns to protests unless you are operating as a single unit of people who are working together and are well-trained and know what you need to be doing and are not there to start violence or anything like that, okay? Now, a line of people wielding rifles standing on a curb right here it's actually, this is a rare example of American anti-chauvinism because it is universal language and it is do not fuck with us. And no one will fuck with you. If you have a group of a half dozen or so people with rifles just standing in all black outside of an event, no one will fuck with you. Why would they? That would be insane. Why would they fuck with you? There were actually more of them than were present here. And this was actually a pre-existing group, too. It wasn't just a bunch of people who organized this over Facebook or whatever. This right here is the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, a legacy worth preserving if ever there was one, promoting and assisting marginalized communities and organizing community defense against white supremacists and fascism, not a militia. Perfect. Perfect stuff right there, okay? This is what you want to see. You don't just want people all hopped up on being aggressive, bringing guns to protest, because all that does is get people hurt. And you may Pepe post, but this isn't a militia. The point of this is, if you've got people who might be hassled by far-right protesters in an area, you know, a couple of people who will just stand there like statues holding guns and cameras are really all you need. It's not about mobilizing a group of people for a political or militaristic purpose. It's just about, you know, here's the tools that you need to provide security to your own event. And that's not forming a militia. This isn't even like a particularly controversial expression of our Second Amendment rights right here. This is just plain old event security, you know? Except it's free and cooler when it's being done by, you know, actual members of the community. It is real good stuff. Love to see it. Many conservatives and fascists are cowards after all. That is true. However, not wanting to fuck with people holding rifles is not a cowardice. It's actually a very reasonable mantra by which to live life. Totally legitimate, that one. Anyway, let's finish the little video, huh?
I was walking over here to talk to somebody, and this one, and the other goes, get away, you can't.
Who do you need to talk to?
I wanted to go talk to somebody. None of your fucking business who I want to talk to. Okay. All right. You don't have to. I know, because I thought this was a public sidewalk. I'm being peaceful. I was just going to talk to somebody. Pedophile's fucking clothes. Look, I was just going to talk to someone. I get my 5 of them goes, get off of here. You can't be here. You know, I'm sorry. This is a free time. Wow.
One thing that I don't understand is that in spite of the shirt this guy is wearing and his accent, he's very obviously from Brooklyn, you know? I feel like this guy has been like misplaced in the level editor or something, because this guy screams like Brooklyn, you know? It's like he's from Brooklyn. He's like recently transplanted here, and he's trying to hide it, you know? Like, yeah, here's my Texas shirt, and let me yeah, there. Dubbed voice actor, crisis actor.
I went to talk to a friend of mine over here, and I got 5 of them as much, and he said, get off of here, you can't be here. I was trying to talk to a friend.
Sir, do you support the Second Amendment? Do you support the Second Amendment?
And it goes on like that. The tried and true tactic of groups like the Proud Boys, stuff like that, when it comes to inciting violence at any kind of protest or event, is that they will have people there with cameras, and they will try to incite violence by provoking it themselves, and then they start the recording when they get hit back. So they'll do everything they can to begin a violent incident, and then try to frame it as though it was always the other side that promoted it, or prompted it. This tactic does not work when you've got a group of people with rifles on the curb. It really doesn't. That tactic is wholly ineffective when you're trying to instigate violence against a bunch of people in shades with masks who are holding rifles. It just don't work that good. You know, cowardice notwithstanding, it's just threat levels and all that. So here's the Fox News article on the event, because obviously people are going to be real salty about this. Masked Antifa protesters show up brandishing weapons. Yeah, like Fox News has ever had a problem with this, ever, you know. A Texas drag bunch with kids. Approximately 20 children and multiple self-proclaimed teachers reportedly attended the event. So again, look at the fascist framing here. The headline here is about you know, ostensibly the event itself, but it's really about the idea that they're like protecting pedophilia. That's the actual thing that's being stated here. Masked black-clad Antifa protesters showed up brandishing weapons at a drag brunch in Texas that was open to children Sunday. Police maintained a presence at the event, which took place at the Anderson Distillery and Grill in Roanoke, Texas, and led at times to tense standoffs between protesters and counter-protesters. Approximately 20 children and multiple self-proclaimed teachers attended the event, where drag queens performed and collected dollar bills, according to footage of the event. I love the phrasing here. performed and collected dollar bills. Because they're obviously trying to make it like, oh, like collected dollar bills, like a strip club. But if they had anything to say, they would have said it here. Like, took dollar bills in like a G-string or whatever. A busker with a guitar down on 3rd Street Promenade collects dollar bills. According to footage of the event obtained by journalist Taylor Hanson. Taylor Hanson. Let's see how much of a journalist you really are. Oh, they follow me. Field reporter, independent journalist. What really happened to those who died on January 6th and 7th? We have the answers and they're sickening. All right, well, we know what kind of journalist this guy is right off the bat. Yep, there's that event. Here's him with Tim Pool. Yep. Everyone wants to be Andy No. Sure, I'll follow you back so you can DM me if you want to argue about something. Yep. So what is this footage? Let's see how bad it gets. Is there going to be copyright music? I'll lower the volume just so I can talk over it. Alright. So, I'm being reminded fat people exist. That's kind of like child abuse, right? Literally just being handed dollar bills. Very suggestive. This has got to be like a GarageBand default sample beat, right? There's no way that this is copyright or whatever. Bad music can be copyrighted too. Oh, don't make me worry about it. How long is this video? 7 minutes? Oh yeah, here we go. Absolutely. Alright, so here's the traumatized child in question. Okay, more traumatic content. Trigger warning. It's the gays. I think this pretty clearly indicates right here what the actual intentions of this so-called journalist are. That they're trying to frame the drag show as some kind of child grooming, and they've cut into this footage 2 fully dressed men kissing in public. It's very obvious what they're talking about here. It has nothing to do with drag queens. It has everything to do with social degeneracy. It's that simple. What if the real problem was with the bird being flipped over here? You know, like he zooms in on this, like, look at this middle finger being displayed in around children. Okay, so we have this person. We have a leering shot of a child from the journalist, which isn't weird. Again, from Fox News, collecting dollar bills, and this person is dressed in a sweater. Oh yeah, dude. This is exactly like a strip club. I've been to a strip club before, and this is exactly what it was like. This right here, this is the outfit all the strippers are wearing at the strip club. Oh, there's a kid! There's a kid there! Next to that fully dressed person! Look, there's a child there! Can you believe there's a child next to somebody who's wearing leggings? Leggings? Yeah, the kid's just on their phone. Alright. Like, this is... does this not come across as really weird? Like, these, like, leering, zoomed-in shots at children who are just kind of, like, idly sitting there? I don't know. If the intention here is to, like, indicate that some grooming is taking place, then this is doing an exceptionally bad job of it. I think they're trying to equate the kid being shy and on her phone as being discomforted around the gays. Man, go to any public area anywhere. Kids are on their fucking phone. I'm on my phone. What? Yeah, like, oh, yeah, the reason this 6-year-old's on their phone is because they're uncomfortable with the grooming. There's no other reason why a kid at an event might be on their phone. What? What is this? A transcription? What, they couldn't get video for this?
You know, taken over our school board, taken over our school board, and they're trying to pull any
teacher's talking.
LGBTQ book off of the shelves of the library, anything about marginalized peoples at all. And their goal is to shut down critical thought.
That's true.
They're fear mongering. They don't even know what they don't know.
I bet none of them have ever been to a drag show before.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like pure
The guy here is the far-right journalist.
And it's been in the culture, like, you know, it's Saturday Night Live, Bugs Bunny. Like, we've been watching drag shows as comedy and as expression for forever.
Mm-hmm. This is completely true, by the way. Everything that people say is like uniquely degenerate about drag shows has been done for comedy for like a century. The only reason they don't like it now is because that aesthetic is being displayed publicly in solidarity with gay people rather than to detract from gay people. That's the thing they actually don't like. Keep in mind, like, these are the people who would have been cheering at minstrel shows a century ago. If there were no gay people, like, in society, like, broadly, like, accepted, you know, like, if we lived in a more explicitly homophobic society, they would be laughing at caricatures of gay people that would be identical to the, like, unironic adoptions of drag show aesthetic that we see today. The issue is not with the actual way people look and behave. It is the fact that gay people and trans people exist at all.
I mean,
They just want to hate.
yeah, that's all that they have. I know a lot of these people are teachers from our district, just fighting for the rights for these students to be able to learn and have access to material that represents them.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Getting caked up over here.
I mean, it's going to take a village. But
That's Southern Belle Bugs Bunny.
I've seen lots of educators, and the opposition was trolling, like digging to find educators who had said that they were coming to this. So a lot of us had to, you know, take our invitation down. They're just
Trying to scare you out of it and intimidate you.
Right.
Bricked up, not caked up. That's right. I mixed it up.
It's just.
Is there a part in this transcript where the teacher says anything wrong or the journalist indicates his positions?
It's preposterous. I teach middle school, and not they.
Them.
Piped up, you know, they dreamed it up.
So she doesn't say anything wrong. The teacher wasn't incorrect at all anywhere here. Right, there you go, yeah. Okay, great. And we have our edgy e-journalist stuff here. Warning, vulgarity, sexualization of minors, and partial nudity. Partial nudity from the person wearing a skirt? Sexualization of minors. Where? The kids didn't do anything except sit there. There has been an effort on the part of the far right to term sexualization of minors into doing anything sexual around minors, and then anything sexual around minors turns into, like, wearing any clothing that is a little bit wacky around them. So, like, wearing a skirt around the kids means self-sexualization, and that means you're sexualizing the minors. It's insane. Completely insane. And again, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about people wearing bikinis at the beach. They don't care about hot MAGA girls with fat titties wearing push-up bras in public. They don't care. They care about the gay and the trans. That's it. It's only that. It's all they care about. Jesus. Yikes! What is this clip that I was given? Yeah, like, you might as well say that the NFL cheerleaders are sexualizing minors because they're doing their little dance on TV where kids are watching them. Legitimately, if you look at, like, cheerleaders, most of them are dressed in way the fuck less than anything those drag queens. Like, look. First of all, I think they look great. I mean, I'm not a fan of the, stars and bars American color scheme, but Here, let me see if I can't get a more anarcho-syndicalist color scheme up here. Thank you. Yeah. So the argument here would be like, if like watching this is sexualizing minors because children might see them at the game or something. Like that, literally, like that is actually the argument that they are making there. I just want you to understand how pathologically like detached from reality this perspective is, you know? The frustrating thing is that I think you can make a real argument for like maybe we should be more on the lookout for behavior that might indicate like children are being harmed or groomed or whatever, but it has very little to do with women wearing push-up bras or skirts or whatever. That's not really an indicator for child grooming. It has more to do with like possessive paternalistic behavior. And like the idea that people like victims of abuse should keep quiet. Like that's the stuff that actually like there are like resources you can look at, if kids are being abused or whatever, like what to look for, and none of it is they're in the presence of people who are wearing skirts. You're not going to find that anywhere. Why the boots? Do people not, I know this is like a fucking Texas thing or whatever. Do people not understand that the hottest shoes that a woman can wear are tennis sneakers? They're not boots. They're not high heels. They're not boots with high heels. It's tennis sneakers. Tennis sneakers and a tennis skirt with leggings are objectively the hottest thing that you can wear below the belt. And frankly, I'm just tired of people disagreeing with my subjective take. That's a pretty shit take. Yeah, well, you can cry about it. Go find yourself another esoteric autistic streamer who does politics and is also 6'2" and has glasses and whatever else I am. Go, shoo, find someone else. Did I drink my coffee today? I think I did. Okay, I think I'm good. Yeah. As a Texan, I'm offended. Okay. I'll just say, really, really, really not a big fan at all of the Texas girl aesthetic. I don't know. Cowboy hats, the plaid shirt that's midriff bearing with like 2 buttons done. It's just not my thing. It's not objectively bad. It's just not my thing, Oh, and I'd like to add to my tennis sneakers take that Vans are also a good one, for like the alt look. I know they're overdone, but there's a reason why Vans sneakers are so fucking popular, Laceless Vans are king. Yeah. I have laceless shoes. That shit's bomb. We've evolved beyond laces. You mean Converse? Am I thinking of Converse? Alt girl wearing Converse. We'll decide based on the Google search results. Whoa! Okay, we have a problem here. Code fucking red, lads. Okay. When I was thinking like cute girl wearing Converse, I'm thinking like this, Like generally, like people, like you can look like a lot of different, stuff. Whatever, it's cute. It's cute. Good aesthetic, right? However, and I'm not saying this with any intention to smear or besmirch or whatever, these are not okay. Who wears these? And why are there so many of them showing up on my Google search results when I search for alt girl wearing Converse? What am I? This feels like a texture bug. Like, if I saw this, I would assume that a body snatcher had inaccurately, like, assumed the textures of the form that they were, you know, like, what? You know what? It's all good. However, this is a good color. The, like, rose pink Converse, that's a nice color. Wrong? Really? All right. Whatever. There's been a development. Putin's propagandists are promoting Breitbart's Hunter Biden film, saying they hope it helps bring our beloved Trump back into power. Well, yeah, of course. Russia desperately wants Donald Trump back in power. He was, like, insanely compromised towards them. I still have no idea why people are mad at Hunter Biden. Like, I get that he does coke and fucks hot girls, okay? Like, why? I need to get in, like, an argument about it or something. I need a conservative to preach at me. Like, okay, so you say Hunter Biden fucks chicks and does meth or whatever. I think that's radical. Now, can you explain why I shouldn't like him? And then I need them to, like, convince me. Like, I'll be like, oh, interesting, you know? Something about a laptop. I don't even know if the laptop's real. Apparently, they were never even able to verify it. And I've heard people say there was CP on the laptop, but I don't think that's true, because if there was, I think more people would have been reporting on it. You know? I don't think that's real. I think they just said that and rolled with it. You should never just trust anything they say, because they'll, like, lie about factually, verifiably provable information. So, you know. The actor in the Hunter Biden movie is cringe. Wait! It's a biopic? It's not just a bunch of people talking about Hunter Biden or, like, interviews with other people. It's a fucking biopic. They're doing a hit piece biopic? Holy shit! That's so deranged! Watch the trailer? Absolutely. Are you fucking kidding me? Hit piece biopic? For a person who's still alive?
So I'll tell you what's going down.
You know who I am.
They told me you were VIP.
Do trailers have copyright? Oh, goddamn it, do they?
The government.
What kind of a moron forgets to pick up his laptop at a repair shop? You're a Biden. Act like one. Everything he built, his life, I just ruined it all. I want to know everything that's on that laptop.
This is so fucking weird. This is so weird. Want to do a political hit piece on the son of our political opponent? Okay, let's literally just make a movie about them. Not a movie on them, a movie starring them, played by actors. Insane.
Something can ruin my erection. My friends, it's time.
That's my president.
Didn't you know I'm taking control? I make an appearance and I gotta go, cause I get them dancing with their hands up. Yeah, I walk in and they go bananas. I'm a bad, yeah.
I'm an artist.
And they're cheering my
Tell me how
Yeah, again, so far so good, right? This is all based.
I can help you.
But I don't deserve help. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I've been through worse.
You're the smartest man I know. Thanks, Dad. I just wish.
By the way, I like how the real Hunter Biden looks like a Chad, so they had to get like a more like Weasley faced guy, you know, to play him. Like they couldn't find the sufficiently like, look at this guy. The funny thing is Hunter Biden looks like he could be an actor. Wait, is that Hunter Biden? Wait, yeah, that is. Sorry, I'm just so used to seeing him when he's like smoking a bowl. 'Cause like all the photos that I've seen of Hunter Biden, like really seen, have been from the have been from like the like him fucking hookers or whatever, or him you know, doing drugs. He's a good looking guy, man. He really is. His hair is thinning? Yeah, dude, fuck it. He looks good with his hair thinning. If they don't show Hunter's fat hog, they're cowards. Yeah, imagine putting out a full movie on Hunter Biden, you know, and not showing his fat hog. Think they're gonna lie about that? They're gonna have just to spite him. They're gonna have a scene where like he has sex with the chick and she's like, "Oh, I can't feel it" or something. You know, they would be that spiteful.
Speak some sense. I'll never forget Corey Bob. He was a bad dude. No joke. Dad, we were talking about suffering.
I can't seem to find anything but positive stuff on the Bidens.
Who's the point man for the foreign policy in the Obama regime? Joe Biden. So it looks like you need $1 billion.
So the obvious next question is,
Where's Hunter? I can remember getting paid some money, but I can't remember what for. Well, my dad says we never discuss my businesses, period. Or my cut.
what's happening in there? Joe's in on it.
Party's over!
Have they ever proven that Joe Biden ever got any money as a cut from Hunter Biden? I know that Hunter Biden has gotten some cushy positions because his dad is Joe Biden. I know that. Obviously, nepotism is... But if I remember, like, there's been no evidence shown whatsoever that Joe ever got a cut. Like, at all. Lawrence Fox. Oh, he's British. They have a British guy? Fox publicly opposed the George Floyd protests and opposed vaccination during the COVID-19 pandemic. He stood unsuccessfully in the 2021 London mayoral election, opposition to what he deemed extreme political correctness. He gained 1.9% of the vote. Yeah, obviously the only people who are going to associate themselves with this project are like lunatics like this, you know? The bad acting might be in part attributable to the fact that they can only pull from a group of insane people.
Everything, Hunter, and you threw it all away. You hope the laptop will take down everybody with you.
Get out! China's not our enemy. They're not bad folks. I love my dad, and I just want to make him proud.
Yes, I know who Gina Carano is.
Who brings in all the deals? I am the one. Good boy.
Wow. In that entire trailer, the only actual bad behavior they alleged on the part of Hunter and Joe is the conspiracy that they were never able to prove. The idea that Joe was getting some kind of cut for using Hunter Biden as a crony position. This is fantastic. I want to watch this so badly. I'm so excited. The director in this movie was one of the gangsters in the Goonies movie? Robert Davi? Really? That's an all-star cast right here. Yep, Robert Davi is directing the upcoming film My Son Hunter. All right. Well. He is an outspoken political conservative, often speaking at Republican Party gatherings. Backed John McCain during his presidential campaign. A frequent guest on Fox News late-night satire program Red Eye with Greg Gutfeld. Oh, God, Gutfeld? Do you guys remember that guy, the incredibly unfunny the comic who was recently given Fox News billing on his own? Gutfeld. The budget for the movie is reportedly $3 million. It's not much. Hunter Biden attributes his penis obsession to body dysmorphia. His obsession with naked selfies was a result of body dysmorphia, according to a rambling. Whoa! Okay, it's blurred out. I figured if it was fine for New York Post to be fine for YouTube, but just in case. Open quotes. I love to be reassured that my 9-inch very big penis was actually big. It may sound funny to you, but it's body dysmorphia. I know my penis is almost twice the size of an average man's penis. The First Son wrote on July 12th, 2018. I fucking love Hunter Biden so much. Hunter Biden lying on like a hotel bed, smoking a bowl of meth, drying his teary eyes with $100 bills. Babe, you gotta understand, I'm really sad about how fucking huge my cock is. I know it's huge, but it just doesn't feel huge unless you say it, you know? God damn, he's so fucking funny. That better be in the movie? Nah, they're cowards. They won't. Cowards. They won't. This is like the fucking epitome of what chicks get wet over when they talk about dad bods, dude. Holy shit, look at that bulge. Look at this guy. This is like the fantasy of like 80% of women where like they wanna get like taken out to a resort by a respectful but still kind of skeevy, somewhat older dude who's stupidly good at sex. And just get like the most expensive food and drinks while they're there, and then like head back home and get back to real life. Am I wrong? Like, am I wrong or am I wrong? Like, come on. People in chat who are weird champing me are just don't like how correct I am on this, or they're straight guys or something. I don't know. Vosh, you're such an egg. You just don't understand women. TBH's body's just average. Yeah, that's what I said. Dad bod. Girls are not out there always having fantasies about people with rippling 8-packs, you know. It's complicated. I can't explain this to you guys right now. We've got a stream to do. I'm glad you're liking it, Kill Me One. No, One Piece is incredibly high quality. And I think that it manages to maintain a significant level of maturity, you know, despite its wacky, crazy cartoon world. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Only read the manga, not watched the anime. Let me pee real quick, and then we have to talk about how Pakistan is underwater and China is above water. That is to say, there's no water left in China. It's all gone. So, 1 second. Are you? Ah. Oh, yeah. Howdy. It is kind of cringe for Hunter to be wearing his dog tags when he was discharged from the Navy, even though it was administrative as opposed to dishonorably. That might be cringe to some people, Panic Stasis, but it's not a level of cringe that I recognize. I don't really care. Speaking of water, what? Don't you give me shit. All right, hold on. Hold on. Fuck, this is so grim. Yeah, hold on. I need maybe 120 seconds to find these links. Yeah. We'll cover China first. They're, yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it turns out, climate change is real. They were right on that one. It's gotten kind of bad, folks. Like a lot. Very bad. We're having sort of a water mismanagement problem. You know, the Earth, when it comes to matter, the Earth is more or less a closed system, you know? Like, energy comes in from the sun, and we lose it through dissipation at the upper reach of the atmosphere. When it comes to how much water there is on Earth, pretty much a consistent thing. More or less. Which means that when you have droughts in one part of the world, you're going to have undroughts in other parts of the world. Let's get to the first problem first. You've probably seen China's experiencing a drought. The Yangtze River has dried up, which, in addition to being terrifying, has also sparked a shortage of hydropower. This is very bad. The Yangtze River is very, very large. Record-breaking drought has caused some rivers in China, including parts of the Yangtze, to dry up, affecting hydropower, halt shipping, and forcing major companies to suspend operations. You gotta understand, folks, a river drying up is a huge, huge deal. Not only does that cut off the energy that you get from the dams, it also means you can't use them as a shipping lane. Like, it's a big deal. Like, it's genuinely like a civilizational, like, hit right there. Yeah, not good. The loss of water flow to China's extensive hydropower system has sparked a grave situation in Sichuan, which gets more than 80% of its energy from hydropower. On Sunday, the provincial government declared it was at the highest warning level of particularly severe, with water flow to Sichuan's hydropower reservoirs dropping by half. The demand for electricity has increased this summer, of course, due to climate change, obviously. More people are running their AC, so they need more power, and they have less of it. The Yangtze is the world's third largest river, providing drinking water to more than 400 million Chinese people, and is the most vital waterway to China's economy. It's also crucial to the global supply chain, but this summer it has reached record low water levels, with entire sections and dozens of tributaries drying up. Water flow on the main trunk is more than 50% below the average of the last 5 years. Shipping routes in the middle and lower sections have also closed. So, it's bad in every possible way. Drinking water shortage means shortage for water for agriculture, means can't be used as a shipping lane, which means trade gets cut off to areas that are already suffering from low power because the dams, reservoirs aren't being filled properly. It's catastrophic. In the city of Chongqing, the water level dropped to reveal previously submerged Buddhist statues thought to be around 600 years old. Wow. Well, they're pretty. I wish we couldn't see them, though. So, that's cool. Not the only place this has happened, by the way. It's a global drought. Drought reveals several Nazi battleships sunk in Europe's Danube River. These battle warships affect river traffic, whose main arteries run via Germany, Italy, and France when the water level drops. So yeah, there's your symbolism. I know writers who employ subtext, and they're all cowards. The climate change causes the rivers to dry up, revealing the ruins of fascism. Can you imagine having a shipping boat that you need to pilot around the sunken Nazi vessel that has reemerged due to record low levels? Jesus. At present, Europe is experiencing record high temperatures and facing the risk of drought in the entire region. In a recent finding, more than 20 German warships that were sunk during World War II have reemerged in the Danube River in Serbia. The warships still contain ammunition and explosives that are stretched along the river near Prahovo, Serbia's river port town. Whew. This is real. They're not just a bit above the waterline, too. They're dozens of feet above the water. That's how low it's gotten. Those sandbars shouldn't even be visible. And they're full of explosives. So that's cool. Not the end of it either. Dinosaur prints, old bones, and hunger stones. Here's what's being found in dried up rivers. We have some ancient Roman architecture right here. The Tiber River has rapidly shrunk in Italy's worst drought in 70 years. Low water levels have revealed two of the ancient piers of Nero's Bridge. It's like the ruins of the old world are reaching up to claim us, to make us join them in the tracks of history. It's like death itself is reaching from the riverbeds to pull us down into the abyss. The ghosts of the past weigh upon our ankles like chains. There's the warships along the Danube. In Spain, the dolmen of Guadalpero, dubbed the Spanish Stonehenge, exposed due to receding waters. The stone circle, which dates back to 5000 BCE, was submerged in 1963 due to flooding. Since then, it's only been visible 4 times. But with the Iberian Peninsula the driest it's been in the past 1,200 years, more sightings could be on the horizon in the future. Hunger stones in the Rhine. Hunger stones are stones with engravings to commemorate famine. When you can see the stones, it means you're in trouble. That's the point. You shouldn't see them. They're ill omens. Here are hunger stones. How old are these? A lengthy drought in Europe has exposed carved boulders known as hunger stones that have been used for centuries to commemorate historic droughts and warn of their consequences. One of the stones in the banks of the Elbe is carved with the words, "Wenn du mich siehst, dann weine." If you see me, weep. Cool. It expressed that drought had brought a bad harvest, lack of food, high prices, and hunger for poor people. Before 1900, the following droughts are commemorated on the stone: 1417, 1616, 1707, 1746, 1790, 1800, 1811, 1830, 1842, 1868, 1892, and 1893. Nothing in the past century. As you can see, they are fully visible. Hope there's room on that rock to carve something new. There are articles all over the place about this stuff. How confident would you feel piloting a shipping freighter on waters this low? It's like if the sun evaporates just one more droplet of water out of this river, we're gonna hit ground beneath us, you know? We're gonna beach. Shipping ship, yeah. Record drought, heat wave dries up river basins and areas of China. I just thought you guys would appreciate this picture of the riverbed of the Jialing River in Chongqing, inland China, as of 5 days ago. It's bone dry there, you know, not even regular dry, just nothing, just no life, just completely incapable of sustaining life.
This morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're keeping the bad news running. This isn't due to a drought. I think this is due to a mechanical problem. Jackson, Mississippi to lose running water for an unknown amount of time, impacting up to 180,000 people. Seems one of the pumps at the water treatment facility was damaged, which is not great. The city won't be able to produce enough water for serious needs, including fighting fires and flushing toilets. Important to remember that in addition to the drought problem we're experiencing, our ability to get access to clean drinking water is also kind of predicated on reliable infrastructure that is itself damaged by factors associated with climate change. You know, like the worse the world gets, the harder it's going to be to maintain this infrastructure as our economy falters, you know, as our systems break down, and then it'll get worse and worse and worse and worse. Water drought also happening in northern Mexico. Yeah, we haven't gotten one from Mexico. Why not? Mexico drought. Sure. Can't get much worse. Love that. That's a year's change right there. I'm kidding, of course. It can always get worse. Woo! 2021 to 2022. My man, the water cycle. What are you doing? There's 1 year. Yep. Water's become a sacred commodity in northern Mexico. Reservoirs have been hitting the bottom of their basins. Taps have been running dry for millions of people in the city of Monterrey, where the water shortage was called a matter of national security. Water bills have skyrocketed. So that's cool. That's phenomenal stuff right there. Oh yeah, here we go. The Virgin River. Oh hey, it's you guys. Could you maybe get it up? Read the next paragraph. People have sabotaged pipes that could divert water to the cities. Truck drivers delivering water have been kidnapped. Ranchers in rural areas have lost livestock or sold their herds prematurely because they can't feed them. People are making lines to obtain a few liters of water. I mean, we are genuinely talking about, like, apocalyptic conditions around the world right now. Like, right now. Currently. You know, in the United States, we are lucky. The United States is a bountiful land. It is large and verdant and full of many natural resources. We're going to be one of the last people to feel the effects of climate change. We're already feeling it, mind you. Record heat waves. Phoenix, Arizona was unlivable before and now is even more unlivable. We're still feeling it, but we're better situated than a good part of the world. You know, better here than Central America or Southeast Asia, or hell, most of Europe too. We have the Great Lakes, for however long they last. How is the IRC responding to East Africa's worst drought in 40 years? International Rescue Committee. Not pictured here. Water. Something that this person and these goats need to live, I assume. Ethiopia emergency water trucking. Sheesh. Malnutrition treatment. Hold on. Global heat records. (2022). The July 2022 land and ocean surface temperature for the globe was 1.57 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average of 60.4. That is really bad. There's only so much you can sugarcoat it. We're only going one direction here. So this is on 19th of July 2022. These dots here represent the approximation of how close they are to the record heat set for the month, or like daily average of the month for July in that area. So the yellow dot is within 3 degrees Fahrenheit of daily record high. Orange is tying daily record high. Red is breaking daily record high. It also can mean tying or breaking monthly record high, apparently. They look very similar, those symbols. And the black X is tying / breaking all-time record high. You got a lot of that right here in England. So that's cool. Central England mean temperature. Sheesh. The blue line right here, this jaggedy line, is the current temperature that's being followed. The pink right there is the highest temperature ever recorded for that day of that month. You see? It's like an average belt. The average is right here, and the pink represents the highest, and the blue just shot up and hit a new top point. So, that's cool. So anyway, as water dries up all over the world, it has to go somewhere, right? Can't go nowhere. We have a closed system, not in energy, but in matter. It hit Pakistan this time. It hit Pakistan. Pakistan has been hit by a record-setting monsoon. The ingrates have taken all the world's water. As it turns out, in excess, not actually that helpful. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday warned the world is sleepwalking into environmental destruction as he launched a flash $160 million appeal for flood-ravaged Pakistan. By the way, the real number on the damage is going to come up to maybe 500 times this. More than 1,100 people have been killed and 33 million others impacted in one of the country's worst monsoon seasons in over a decade. No?
Families scramble on dry ground to meet a waiting rescue helicopter. It's just one of many rescue missions taking place in Pakistan, parts of which have been deluged by floods after weeks of unprecedented monsoon rains. The Pakistani government says more than 30 million people across the country have been impacted by the floods. The operations by air critical to transporting the stranded to relief centers, and also dropping supplies to areas not accessible by boat or roads, with Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif joining the effort over the weekend. The government says it needs...
So to be clear, we have some data here. We love our data, don't we, folks? To be perfectly clear, okay? Millions of people are homeless right now. Something like a third of the country of Pakistan is underwater. That's not a joke. I really properly mean that. Rainfall was so large and so significant that something like a third of the previously occupied territory is just not usable anymore. You have 15% of their population homeless, tens of millions of people displaced. Is climate change to blame? Riveting question, that one. Yeah. Really makes you wonder. The climate change minister says more than a third of the country has been completely submerged by the heaviest recorded monsoon rains in a decade. Yeah, right there. This isn't like some flippant YouTuber exaggeration. The climate change minister is describing it as a third of the country is submerged. Yeah. You can see, here we go. Rainfall well above average in most regions. Rainfall 2022 compared to average rainfall. So as you can see up here, the blue line is slightly higher than it probably should be at the moment. Wait. Is this showing what I think it's showing? This is the Zoom Earth map with live satellite data over the world. You can see the flood from space. Looking over Pakistan right here. Let me see if I can't find a satellite image of Pakistan when it's not like this. No. Wall Street Journal provides this juxtaposition from satellite. So I looked up Pakistan satellite photo, and I'm having trouble finding an older one because all of the satellite photos are from right now with captions like, "You can see the flood from space." Oh, right. Yeah, Google Earth. Hold on. Google Earth doesn't update live. Let's use Google Earth and compare it to the Zoom Earth. Just a moment. Google Earth taking a while to load. All right, here we go. Hold on. Google Earth. Oh God! What is the angle? Oh, the orientation's not what I'm used to. Oh, hello. All right. The Earth is round. Yeah, it says you. All right. Well, see over here in this current live update satellite map of Pakistan, I'm observing what seems to be a track of water so large that it can be seen from space, like the creation of a new lake, almost. And on a not recently updated it looks normal. There's a date option right there. Oh, I'm stupid. Only goes back a couple of days. Look, whatever. I think the point has been sufficiently demonstrated. Let's not let my technological ineptitude get in the way of what is actually a very serious problem. More photos. Again, we're talking tens of millions of people displaced here, including extremely handsome gentlemen like this fella, if that makes you any more sympathetic. Yeah, guys, I don't know. The world's kind of ending a little bit. Jesus Christ. A third of Pakistan is underwater as deadly floods leave desperate residents facing doomsday. I want to be clear, by the way. When I say the world's kind of ending a bit, I want to be I'm being glib here. Humanity is going to survive no matter what we do to the environment. We're just too smart. We've left ourselves too many tools. Even if 90% of humanity gets gutted off in a war and climate crisis, there will be humans, and we owe it to those humans, even if there's not very many of them, to do as good of a job as we can. They'll rebuild civilization. We are persistent and tenacious. It's going to take a hell of a lot more than average temperature changes to oh, F? All right. Fine, I'll wait it out. Just a little hiccup. We're back? Hey, Marco. Oh, great. Oh, why don't I just look at YouTube chat? Sorp. When Vosh says humanity, he means rich white Americans. I just earlier was talking about how America benefits, our class position and our geographic position benefits. What do you mean? Okay, look, guys, I just want to be clear, okay? Doomer fatalism is not an option here, all right? No matter how bad things are, you have a moral obligation to do what you can to make sure they don't turn out as bad as they could be. Please understand this, all right? Now, I can be glib about it, you know, oh, the world's ending, whatever. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. But I want you to ask yourself, do you think there's a meaningful difference between a world dealing with climate crisis that is absorbed into bitter fascist nationalist infighting, or a world which is not? I think there's a significant difference there. I think that you know, the predominant you know, fascist ideology, if you know, if brought about in a climate apocalyptic world, would make things a lot worse. There are always things we can do to improve the situation. So don't mistake glibness as resignation, because they're not the same thing. I think it's okay to make comments like that, but then go, oh yeah, the world's ending. We're going to do the best we can. That's how I feel. That's how you all should feel. Frankly, I don't have much patience for people who feel any other way, because I find doomerism to be a very frustrating and counterproductive attitude. Well, Vosh, it's easy to say that when you're in an amazing situation compared to the rest of us and can survive. Suck it up. Fuck you. The only reason you can say that we should do good things is because you're wealthy. Yeah, I am. And? Doesn't make what I'm saying any less right. Quit clinging to excuses. You're like an incel, like, well, your good advice, of course you'd believe that because you're good looking and tall. Like, you know, shut the fuck up, okay? Don't use my class position as a justification for your cynicism, all right? Not to by the way, keep in mind, not to mention, I'm of the opinion that climate crisis will lead to an upsurge in fascist activity. You think I'm any more likely to survive, you know, that situation because of my wealth? Do you think in rampant fascist activity, I'm like, you know, who's like the first people we should kill? I mean, maybe a little. Guys, the first people they killed in Nazi Germany was the communists. You realize that, right? You're aware of the fact that there were communists with cultural power, the fact that they had cultural power did not make them less likely to be killed. It made them more likely to be killed. You realize that, right? I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying it's a dangerous world for all of us. No, well, I thought there'd be some kind of commentary over that. Evidently not. We saw this one. Well, the point that I am so laboriously trying to arrive at here, apart from the anti-doomerism, which I maintain, is that it is a very dangerous world, and things are very bad right now, and they're going to continue to be very bad, and they're going to get worse with time. But we still have the potential to make things potentially not as bad as they would otherwise be. As broadly Westerners, the best way that we can do that is to make sure that progressives and socialists are the ones who are put into positions of political power, because they are generally far better disposed towards issues concerning international aid, migrant and refugee crises, and energy management. So that's the general thing that we can, push for at the moment. Obviously, there are more specifics, but while it is good if you choose to ditch your car in favor of a bike or drink through a paper straw or whatever, we all know that's not really the issue here. So, all right, good hustle. I am going to read donations. Please, Vosh? What is this? Got donos to read. Though I will be reading them quickly. Guys, one of the things... Vosh's moving castle. I will be making an effort to be a little expedient when it comes to the dono readings. I gotta try. I keep saying this, and I gotta try, What in the fuck am I looking at? From Matt Walsh. Let me introduce you to Dr. Scott Mosser, who cuts the breasts off adolescent girls. Okay? Or more accurately, top surgery. Okay? They don't literally just cut the tits off. As I understand it, it's actually they leave the skin on. All right. Many surgeons across the country will and do inflict top surgery on minors. Mosser assures us he follows a strict guidelines before performing double mastectomies on children. They try to make it sound so scary. It's like, yeah, children can have surgeries. That's a thing that can happen. That has happened in the past. It's their body, their choice. What an odd take from Kim Iverson. Their parents or anyone's pressuring them, let them live with that and let them take it up with them later. It's none of our business how others choose to live their lives. Okay. Their body, their choice does not apply to minors. Do you think children can consent to sex? If not, what makes consent to permanently disfiguring surgery any different? Minors actually can consent to sex. Each state has its own laws on this. Interesting. Now, Kim Iverson's kind of like, maybe this is like a actually a deep state, like top secret psyop attempt at associating top surgery with pedophilia. She's like, I'll take one for the team here. Yeah, I am okay with kids getting top surgery, and yeah, also I'm pro pedophilia. Yeah, what are you gonna do now? Wacky stuff. I think her point is charitably about those tiered consent laws. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you want to be charitable, there are a couple of things you could read into this, like children can consent to sex with each other. Like when I was 15, I was having sex with 15-year-olds, though that's not really, I think legally that's still considered like bad. I think can you be arrested for that? There have been stories of like high schoolers sexting each other, and the cops would arrest one of them for production and distribution of child pornography. That's happened. Sexting's different, I think. Yeah, that's still pretty that seems like that seems like a misallocation of the intent of the law, right there. But anyway, yeah, I think Kim Iverson could probably make this point a little bit better. Arresting a child for that? Yeah, it's literally happened. Sorry, I keep asking, but this is important. Could you give a shout out to Half-Earth Socialism? It's an amazingly eco-socialist video game based on a ton of theory. Why would I shout out something I haven't played myself? What if it's shit? People always ask me, like, shout out this, shout out... This is like a lefty thing, you know? It's like, shout out this, shout out that. But I don't know. What am I recommending, right? It might be dope as hell. I have no idea. Please check it out. I love you, but I can't promise that. Get a lot of requests to look at stuff, but I am reasonably limited in my ability to do so. By the way, Biden tweeted out about banning assault weapons. He's not going to ban... It's... whatever. We need a Zuby dunk session. Does he make YouTube videos? No, no! Hey! Whoa! Hey! I was reading donos! What are you guys doing? Trying to catch me lacking over here. All right. Sake with $10. When Vosh was a teenager, he was already having sex with underage horses. True. Always my age, of course. Liberium with tier 1 sub. Why does Kissinger keep outliving everyone? Pure spite. Bury and Gorbachev is dead. That's a fresh name. Thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Do you think tankies are happy Gorbachev is dead? Probably. They hate Gorbachev, yeah. Antifa Private 161 with $5. Vosh, would you be willing to speak to the anti-fascist activist Darryl Lamont Jenkins? Would be an interesting convo. I heard he sent me an email. I don't remember who that is. They're free to send me an email. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but what would I talk about? I want to focus on arguing with people more. We used to do only debates on this channel. Now it's like one debate for every 10 discussions, you know? If I want you guys to have info, there are ways to convey that. Apart from just somebody coming on and telling us about it, you know? The discussions are still nice, Vosh. They are, but you know, I see the views they get. I know what people come in here for. You people, you come in here for your Ben Shapiro TikTok reacts. You come in here for your crazy, insane, screamy debates. You know, I see you. I see you. I see what you people want. Nobody wants to talking to a PhD, this or that. Yeah. By the way, you know that's what the Vosh Pit channel is for, right? The main channel, we put out the most like marketable stuff because of the way the YouTube algorithm works. Just blame YouTube if you want. But the Vosh Pit gets like 3 times as many videos as the main channel does. Everything from stupid stun locks to like interesting discussions, you know? If you don't like having to like sort between them and like which one is which, what should I look at, what should I not, you're just going to have to look through them, you know? This is an hour-long conversation with Dylan Burns talking to me from Kyiv. He's currently out there, like near the front lines because he's moved further east, you know? And then here's me reacting to a cringy video game trailer with 10,000 more views. Unfortunately, a lot of this, a lot of the content dispersion on my channel, you know, is a product of you guys. It's all right. It's all right. We all go for the clickbait. I'm trying to use clickbait more often because people respond to it well. You know, if it makes a person watch a video and they end up enjoying the video, you know. Youngster Rick with the $5. The whole world's gonna turn into Gale's Arena. True. Sake with the $10 twice in a row. Conservatives hate Hunter Biden because they wish they could have the size of his dong. True. 99% of conservative issues come from dong envy and booba envy. True. That's why Japan is so nationalist. They envy our gigantic American titties. Heron from the ground, Hamza Prime Number, and Cap and Geo. Thank you for the $5 all. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Battle Angel and Ark, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I have not seen Mr. Robot, though I've heard plenty about it. Vashashish, thank you for the $20. That's very kind of you. Final Tyrant, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the $10 both. I really appreciate that. Ruthless Aggression Arc. We're gonna enjoy streaming. I want to enjoy streaming, you know? Oh, and part of enjoying, by the way, I do enjoy streaming. I just want to be enthusiastic. And by the way, part of that is going to come down to you guys being on your best behavior, all right? I don't want to see you guys throwing a petty little revolt, you know, whenever we have a contentious taker again, you know? We have been better about that. The whole nodding discourse before I left was phenomenally funny. But you guys, yeah, you got to be good. You got to be good boys and girls, okay? You got to work with me. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. You just got we got to work together. Ich bin Nicholas 229 with the $10. Thank you for the pay. Really appreciate that. Keshan HD, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Oh, for sure, for sure. Basmudi and Antifa Gaming, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Group of tents in Seattle are actually the last capitalist communes left within the great socialist United States. Yeah. Talking with the Yankee Tanky and doing the whole, like, ironic American chauvinism thing was funny as fuck. I don't know. Like, I hope everyone, because I know people in the comments of the video are going to be like, you should have engaged with his talking points. I ask you, fucking how? I beg of you to tell me how, okay? I've engaged with many points in my life. Sometimes the conversation is a two-way street, you know? Whew. Mini a kill and that one music boy, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Both really appreciate that. Rainbow Dash, thank you likewise. Kindred Reveler, thank you for the $10. This guy hurts my head. I can't even be angry. Yeah. I would be more annoyed with him if he was some prominent grifter with, like, you know, a big paycheck or whatever, but, you know, it's circumstances allowing. Otto von Bismarck and Charlotte 96, thank you for the $5 both. Would Putin have had Gorbachev killed? No, I don't think so. He's pretty fucking old. Dingledorf, thanks the tier 1 sub. M68 Ken, thank you for the $10 both. If you want to piss off a tanky, just tell them Perestroika was the most socialist set of policies ever enacted in the USSR. True! True! The Bread Boy, thank you for the $20. I really appreciate that. The free munitions to Laos joke was the hardest I'd laughed in a while. You're wrong for that, but it was so out of left field I laughed so hard. That one was so fucking funny. Especially since we had that whole, like, serious look over all the bombs and landmines we dropped over Laos, all the cluster munitions just a couple of weeks ago. And it's like, yeah, we're taking back the stolen wealth that they yoinked from our super fortresses, our B-52s, as they flew over Laos. So you can imagine, like, poor American, like, planes flying over Laos, and then a bunch of, like, sinister Laos villagers with magnets, like, pulling the cluster bombs out of the bombing bay of our fucking planes, you know, like, stealing our resources. Fuck. The B-52s are, like, trying to shake them, the magnet lock, you know. He didn't even get it too. I mean, yes, Tempest, for sure. He did not know what you were talking about. Well, I've said this before. One of the best ways to keep yourself from falling into political mental illness is being able to understand jokes and satire when they're being done by the other side. Very, very, very important. Critical, even. Now, this gets a bit fuzzy because Nazis and, you know, people like that, they tend to do the fake irony thing where they'll say something they really believe, but they'll make it, like, sound a little sillier than normal. So when they get criticized on it, they can pretend they don't believe the whole thing, but they really do believe the thing. And, like, Sam Hyde tier shit, yeah. They can pull that. And you have to be able to identify when they're doing that as well, but that's more of an advanced technique. It can be, that's because they're being very dishonest. It can be difficult. But if there's a person you disagree with, but they're making a real, like, genuine joke or something, you should be able to parse that out. Conservatives have a bad sense of humor, so they don't throw it out that often, but, like, if you were talking to a conservative or something, and they were like, and they were like, you're like talking about your day, and they're like, yeah, I got a drink from Starbucks earlier. It fucking sucked. I think they made the meal wrong, or the drink wrong. And you were like, oh, what happened? They were like, well, you know, the barista had blue hair, so they've probably never worked a day before in their life, and they give you a smile. Like, if you got mad at that, like, I think that means you have to take a step back for a second and think like, okay, like, where are my lines for comedy, and how well am I communicating with people I disagree with? But what's the joke? The joke's the joke. The joke is like, oh, haha, blue hair, they never worked before. I would make that joke. Haven't I made that joke? But like, it's the way it's delivered, right? There's a joke. No, the joke is shit, but nonetheless, I think it's fine. I would make that joke. If I like, no, never mind. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, we're not getting into it. We're not getting into it. Grimlock the $10. Read this. All right. Gwibble, gwabble, bibble, wobble, shmoim, fume, yui, boo. I'm autistic. So I see. Thank you. Obama Gaming, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Congrats on your CIA gig. Antifa Private 16. Well, I read that one. John Creech and Aiden Heron, thank you for the $5 both. New to the channel, love your content. Hoping to canvass my area soon because of you. Fuck yeah, happy to hear that. Would love to see you react to Jehovah's Witness propaganda. Oh, you know, I have a Jehovah's Witness family group in my family. Would you rather be dictator of the U.S., Maupin or Crowder? I think Crowder. I genuinely think Crowder, yeah. First of all, Crowder is definitely a grifter chaser who's just reeling in the paychecks. Second of all, I think he's more mentally stable. I think that, like, if Crowder actually had all the power and he wasn't being led around by, like, corporate interest or whatever, I think he would be, like, a bog standard neoconservative, you know, who's also just, like, really, really, like, racist, but more in, like, a personal ingratiation sense, you know, like less so like a policy advocacy for fascism and more like just he personally is racist. Maupin is fucking deranged. No, he's an open fascist. I think his fascist tendencies are him moving with the tides more so than a personal ideological drive. But Maupin is like essentially Nazi tier ideology, and he also wants to build a cult and shit. I think that Crowder just wants to do coke and like fuck trans women or whatever. You know, that's my impression of his like psychiatric state. Pinto Bean, Schluppen Life, Dr. Osmium, thank you for the tier 1 subs all. Really appreciate that. Red Cactus, thanks to the tier 2 sub. Silver Solus, Team Scoopy, thank you for the $5 both. Yeah, I've heard about the Kent Teachers Union on strike in Kent. I hope they're going well. Sake with the $10, thank you very much. Midnight Kitty, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Goldeneye, that's true. Dennis Schultz and Piat, thank you for the tier 1 sub both. Really appreciate that. Lewis and Charlotte 96, thank you for the 5 both. What do you think about what Sam Hyde said about Hassan? Some people think it was too far. I mean, Sam Hyde is like a deranged Nazi. So him saying into a mic to a large audience, like, I'll kill you in real life. Remember what I said earlier about like joking but not joking? Like, Sam Hyde himself will never do anything to Hassan, but Sam Hyde's audience would if they could, like, you know, at least some of them. So it's one of those, like, you know, real but not real things. Faking irony has been Sam Hyde's modus operandi for his entire career. Brave Dubin, Tequila Sunset, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Nope, I will not play Stray. Charlotte, and Charlotte again, thank you for the 5 both. Ash, Koopa Shell 10, Satanic Cabal, NPC Porky, and Salty Internet Pirate, thank you for the tier 1 subs all. I really appreciate that. Cadzer, thanks for the tier 2 sub, very kind of you. Linkman with the gifted tier 1 sub. Shrug and Bug, thank you for the $5. Rigris Sinks, thank you for the $5, really appreciate that. Then with the $10, thank you very much. Sad that America like comes over democracy. I'm not trying to make any conspiracy, but this is like what Putin won. Oh yeah, no, 100%. The Yankee Tanky guy we talked to is just like a support. He's a nationalist for authoritarian countries that are anti-American. I mean, he literally like believed the election results for Assad and his father. Like, he actually believed 99.7% of people voted in favor of Bashar al-Assad during a civil war in Syria. Like, at a time when he's fighting with protesters and warring against, like, rebel groups. He thinks, yeah, like, oh, yeah, well, obviously the country is completely aligned in support. Like, it's just, again, it's mental illness. It's insane. You can't argue with that. No critical thinking at all. Jason here with the gift of tier 1 sub. Vosh, I tried your yogurt hot sauce combo last night. It was so good. I'm sorry for doubting you, sir. Thank you. The Camps 10, thank you for the 200 pesos. Please don't let militaries around the world believe climate change can now be used to strategically damage countries, a la scorched earth. Oh, I'm sure it's already been bantied. LJ, thank you for the incredibly kind 10 bucks. We need to take back patriotism. I'm tired of anti-patriotic people justifying it as patriotism. There's nothing patriotic about the right. I'm no nationalist, but I will agree that from a purely political perspective, socialists are never going to win in this country unless they're willing to drape themselves in the flag. The Bread Boy, thank you for the incredibly kind $20. Oh, wait, I read this one. Yeah, thank you. Kalik Tessie, thank you for the very kind 20 bucks. Vosh, can you quickly draw up your dream country by Frankensteining existing systems from other countries? Transit from X, electoral from Y, etc. Quickly? The fuck do you mean? What? Quickly? Oh yeah, just quickly assemble an ideal country while pulling elements from countries I don't like. I don't like existing countries. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Like, limited to what we have now? Grimlock, thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Savage Boredom, thank you for the $10. I'm happy to hear you got bank from the unemployment office. Don't give me nothing if you need it. Keep that in mind. James Goins, thank you for the $2. I don't know. Thick Bonkus and Markinator, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, Thick Bonkus. Markinator says, how can you say Marxism-Leninism isn't communism when MLs are the only communists to actually carry out revolutions and build states? Well, that's the thing. I don't think they're communists. I mean, MLs aren't the only groups that do revolutions or carry out coups. Plenty of groups do that. Fascists, MLs, but I repeat myself. Possibly now with the 10 euros. Thank you very much. Thank you for Life of Heavening. I am Mother Teresa. You have brain leprosy. It's reality. Fuck that convo, man. Jesus Christ. Markinator with the $5. Oh, I need you to look at this meme for why the USSR had to sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. My dude, you can cope as hard as you want, but they signed a peace deal with Nazis and carved up Poland. They were allies with the Nazis. There were Soviet Axis talks before the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact where Stalin was trying to negotiate more territory out of the pact with Hitler. Hitler broke off those talks because Stalin was being too greedy. There was no meaningful ideological difference between them here. They were just competing fascist powers. I wish, I know the Yankee Tanky guy never answered to it, but keep in mind, they will literally defend the USSR full on allying with the Axis powers and carving up Poland, negotiating to conquer more territory in the future. But the fact that there are a few hundred Azov battalion people and the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians defending against Russian invasion, that means the whole country is Nazi. There's no real position here. Like I said, there's no actual set of beliefs. The only point is to humiliate. When you talk with them, because they're allergic to truth. It's absolutely nothing else that can be done. Top with the 5 Australian. People like Yankee is why I'm a sock them. I don't want to be associated with crazy people like him. No! Idiot! The fuck do you mean? He's not a communist. You being a communist, what? You let them take the label? Oh, wouldn't want to be associated with these fascists who call themselves socialists. Might as well call myself some kind of liberal. No, reclaim the label. Jeremiah Ford, thank you for the $5. I lean conservative and was directed to your channel. You have interesting and compelling ideas. I tip my hat to you, sir. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure you liked my phony American chauvinism. Groovy Duke, thank you for the $5. Hangry Socialist with the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. 885 Greg with the 5 Australian, so they are. Exikio, thank you for the $5. And Booty Bounty Hunter with the $15. La Lavash, I got paid for my first gig as a voice actor in a Skyrim mod based. Figured I'd divert some of the funds to my favorite parasocial pedestal. Ah, how appropriate. I love Skyrim. And now all of the remaining donos are from people who linked. Hunman's Park, the 5 Ducks. Tankies don't listen to us because we support stuff like this. YouTube link, nope. Nemasign 13. Bosch, Google removed truth.social from the Google Play Store. Trump gave out the funniest response. Your link doesn't work. I'm sorry, I love you. I'm sure we'll see it in the future. Dennis Schultz, thank you for the $5. Moving Fortress Arc, let's go. Now we have 2 Moving Fortress Arc images that I'll show. Thank you. Charlotte96 with the $10. Daffy Duck. Hot. I heard that the new Looney Tunes show actually wasn't that bad. Blake Tessie, thank you for the $5. Here's some Capital Pride Parade stuff from Ottawa. Hell yeah. Gay people. He just posted this, can't make this up. Is this real? It was posted by Brian Tyler Cohen. I guess it's real. This is amazing. I hope it's real. Why is everyone so mean to me? I love him. Man, I miss him. Get him back on Twitter. Shabazz, the $5. Ukraine tricked Russia into fake artillery. This is old tactic, like from World War I think. Yoink. Nathan Galang with the $5. Nazi Andy Worski fought Filipino TikTok star Salt Papi on the KSI undercard. I recommend you watch this.
Here's our announcer. It's us.
Yeah, didn't Andy Worski embodied? This is like content creator royale, right?
Instructions all times. Watch your heads and keep your punches up. When I say break, I mean break. Both step back. Both understand? Shake hands.
What? Why the... I feel like Andy Worski looks like Jesse Pinkman if Jesse Pinkman had been a member of the Nazi group to begin with and hadn't just been imprisoned by them.
And keep your punches up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be strength.
Black Andy Worski.
Back to a lot of showboating from Salt Poppy.
Salt Poppy has some of the best hands.
That didn't seem like it was that much. I haven't boxed in a while, but that...
Salt Poppy has some of the best hands.
Hit to the jaw can fuck you up. Yeah, I guess. Just, yeah.
Be the southpaw, a la Manny Pacquiao from the Philippines.
Expect a lot of showboating from Salt Poppy.
Salt Poppy has some of the best hands.
Well, there you go.
Man was talking about a fight with KSI earlier.
Neat. Withered Prince, the $5. One to draw a thank you pick for giving me content to listen to while doing comms. Oh, hell yeah. Aw. We've combined so many elements. I love him. Him being me here. Absolutely. And Thick Boy, I'm afraid your link doesn't work, but I'm glad your credit card debt is coming along well. I don't think you put a space between those links. All right, lads. Down at the $5. Vosh, you seem to forget about my friend Ramen, who's supposed to come on to talk to you about China. Are you having him on soon? I don't know. I will be straightforward though, Dynaman and Ramen, if he's listening. I take forever to get back to absolutely everyone. Absolutely everyone. All the time. It's nothing personal. Yeah, everyone who's ever talked with me knows this. Have we discussed the Sneeko Fuentes Destiny debacle yet? What's to discuss? Silversolus, thank you for the 5. And Grimlock, thank you for the 2. All right, we did it. We cleared donos in spite of unusually large number of linkers. We also have 2 spectacular forerunners in the Vosh's Moving Fortress from Posadish John here with the fortress here, which is fantastic. Oh, the chat froze. Hold on. Well, that's not right. White Nervoso will fix it in a bit. In the meantime, enjoy your non-1984 chat. And we also have this entry, which has me in shades, which is good, but doesn't contain the fortress. Curious. We'll have to think it out. All right. Oh. I'm sure White will fix it. Enjoy it while you can, you fucking middle school brain dipshits. I love you all very much. I'm glad I get back to streaming now. I'm going to throw you all over to... about the Surfs TV. It's been a good long while. I'm throwing you all over to my man Lance. I hope you all have a wonderful day. You'll be seeing me tomorrow. You're all beautiful, etc., etc. I'll see you guys soon. What button do I have to hit? This one.